your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
Yes. Chris Watkins sitting in the chair yet again for one Allen Stiles, who continues to be out for the next couple weeks as he has just added a +1 to his family over the weekend. Congratulations to the Stiles family. Really just not talked about enough, especially in this, not even in this era. It's just everybody has stage names these days, and you don't even know because they'll be, Curtis, obviously 50 Cent is Curtis Jackson, but I will use that as the example of people will be named, oh yeah, my stage name is Curtis Jackson. It's like, well, that's just a real name. So all that to say, Allen Stiles, it doesn't get talked about enough how incredible of a last name that is. And yes, another one added to the Stiles family. Again, Allen will hopefully be returning in a couple weeks for Kings Media Day, which is slated for the 29th, I believe.
That is correct. Monday the 29th.
Monday the 29th. So you can have that circled on your calendar, as yesterday Kyle and I talked quite a bit about how Jonathan Kuminga could make that 29th date a very interesting one for a handful of teams. The Warriors definitely specifically. But with Jonathan Kuminga kind of having this October 1st deadline before he really has to make a decision on whether or not he's going to sign his qualifying offer or not, it is going to be very interesting if that date of September 29th comes and goes and Jonathan Kuminga has not made a decision yet, because again, as we talked about yesterday, there's a chance that the Warriors have a 7-person media day, which I don't know what they would do. I would assume maybe Adam Silver can pull some strings and maybe they can get Al Horford and Seth Curry in the building and GP2 in the building regardless, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes down. As we left yesterday's show, we set you up with the Monday Night Football doubleheader. Whitey had an hour-long show yesterday leading into that Bucs-Texans game, and then Raiders and Chargers. Blech. Can I just say that for both the games yesterday? I think the Bucs game falls victim to something that happens, especially when we just miss football a lot, where you'll confuse yourself because it had a good ending, that it was a good game. I thought that game was incredibly boring. There were some scores in the first quarter. I think it was 10-7 or something like that after the first quarter. And then, it was 10-7 after the first. Bucs score in the second quarter, 14-10 at halftime. And then, the end of the game was a little exciting. Good to see Nick Chubb still running strong, got that 25-yard touchdown untouched. Just good to see him getting game action. Obviously, he's had a ton of lower body injuries, and to see him still running is a positive. Unfortunately, could have been the game-winning touchdown, but the Buccaneers, horseshoes, they win on, I guess you could say, game-winning touchdowns back-to-back weeks. Last week, the Igbuka touchdown. What was that? That was not against the Saints, was it? Was that against
Falcons?
The Falcons? Thank you. I knew it was a division opponent.
Just a chaos game.
Yeah, that game was insane, and that touchdown was beautiful. I think I had heard Mike Evans say that Igbuka had told him in the huddle, I want this post route, and if I get the post, throw it to me, Baker, because I want to game this. And he called it. He absolutely called it yesterday. It was Rachaad White on the touchdown. So yeah, a great, thrilling victory for the Bucs, back-to-back weeks. Yesterday we talked about how confused I am with that NFC South division, trying to figure out a little bit like the NFC West right now. I think we can, in my opinion, to me, it seems like the Rams are in a different class, even though we know the Cardinals and the Niners also 2-0. I think that's more of scheduling reasons, but to me, I think the Bucs are at the top of that division. To me, they're the best team. Baker has definitely proved himself. That defense has gone through it since those Super Bowl days. They've just leaked players, but they still have incredible talent on that side of the ball. I think if I had to pick a favorite in that division, it would be the Bucs. And then from the Texans side, I don't know what to do with this team, the Texans. They've been I mean, they've been good, right? They especially since CJ Stroud got there, they have been an above 500 team. Their offense, CJ, I think definitely fits the mold of like, it's good. It's good. I would not put it elite. I would not put it in a top 5 conversation. I wouldn't even think about putting it in a top 5 conversation. But it's not bad. But it just doesn't. I know, the Joe Mixon injury really threw a wrench into their season. I don't know if they were expecting what happened with Joe Mixon to happen, but they're a team that I think has some aspirations. They think that they can be at least a playoff team every single year in Houston, but they're not of the caliber of the Ravens. They're not of the caliber of the Bills. Maybe they're of the caliber of the Chiefs these days, but they're just not really in that competing stage yet. They're really close, but here they are starting the season 0-2. They lost week 1 to the Rams, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that was a 14-9 game where that game was incredibly boring as well, really stuck in the mud. Again, we're still early in the year. Texans traditionally have this offensive line problem, so maybe you can give them a little bit of grace, give them some time to kind of come together, but definitely not the start to the season that they expected. And in the second game, the Chargers just dominate the Raiders. I mean, it was as good as Geno Smith was in week 1. He was every bit as bad in week 2. Kind of the reverse Russell Wilson, where you saw Russ just really struggle in week 1 and then light it up with moon balls left and right in week 2. You saw Geno in week 1 light the entire field on fire. I think I saw a passing chart after that first game where he only had 1 or 2 balls that were thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Just everything was going for major chunk plays against the Patriots. Wasn't the case against the Chargers. Now, the Chargers, you can argue they're just a better team than the Patriots in general. From a defensive standpoint, again, you could argue they're a little bit better. I don't know necessarily if I would consider the Chargers one of the elite defenses in the league. It was interesting to see Khalil Mack go out yesterday. I think he dislocated his shoulder or something. It looked like he just ran off the field and he was holding his arm.
He ended up in a sling.
Did he really? Okay, yeah, I didn't see the aftermath of it, but obviously for that to happen against the Raiders was pretty tough to see. I think that obviously is just a symbol of what it's been for the Raiders. Really, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many years you want to put it, but just not been able to figure it out. I think this year is leaning towards kind of what we've seen these first 2 weeks is I think it's going to be a bit of a random at any given Sunday for the Raiders, I guess, if you will, where you really don't know what you're going to get from them. I think more times than not, they'll be better against the bad teams, which is something I guess you wouldn't just definitely say about the Raiders before. They were one of the bad teams. To me, it feels like this season is going to be one of those where they beat up on all the bad teams. And then when they play interdivision or just some of the tougher opponents, and we can go down their schedule right now. Next week, they're in Washington. That's going to be, again, without Jaden Daniels. I don't know. I mean, we don't know yet. I think they still said they're waiting on the MRI, and I always say if they're even talking about your status this early in the week, to me, that's probably not a great sign unless these next couple of days we start to hear some progression.
Marcus Mariota revenge game.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the Mariota Raider era. Well, yeah, I guess
it was a short era.
I was
but
I wouldn't call it an era, but it was a time. It was a moment in time.
It was the descent. It was we're done with Derek Carr, and we're going down.
So that'll be interesting if that happens on what would that be? Sunday at 10 a.m. The Raiders play the Commanders. That could be a blessing in the skies for them if they can get Marcus Mariota instead of Jaden Daniels. Makes that game a whole lot more winnable. Then they come back home, play the Bears. They play the Colts. We don't know what that's going to look like. And then they play the Titans. So before playing the Chiefs before their bye week. So I think the Raiders have an opportunity here to, maybe be 500, a couple games above 500, or a game above 500 heading into their bye week in week 8, which I think is a really positive sign. I like that it just seems like Pete Carroll has professionalized that organization to an extent, done the most he can. He obviously is a program shifter. That's what he was known for at USC. He turned the Seahawks from a team that was fairly irrelevant. I mean, in my childhood, they had the Matt Hasselbeck, Sean Alexander year. That was really it in the early 2000s. And besides that, the Seahawks are a pretty forgettable franchise with the exception of what leading up into Pete Carroll and what he brought to that system. Obviously, Pete Carroll, it was his celebrity birthday yesterday. He was 74 years old, the oldest coach in the NFL. I believe he's the oldest person to ever coach a professional football game.
That is correct.
Professional or college.
You might be right on that.
Yeah.
He's old.
He's old is the point. Yes. So he might not still have I was going to say he might not have all the energy to kind of build up a program like he did before, but Pete, if anybody's still got energy at 74 years old, Pete Carroll continues to just be a kid.
He was out there
lively energy.
He was out fighting the referees for pass interference calls yesterday. It was crazy.
Yeah, and you see him sometimes in the pregame when guys are stretching. He'll just jump on guys. He'll shake them, hit their shoulder pads, and it's like, this guy's incredible. If Mike McDaniel had that much physical energy, maybe we would be somewhere. But so the Raiders, they're definitely turning things around. I feel like, again, they've professionalized themselves. The Genty thing, that's tough. When you're going to take a running back that high, he's got to be special. And Genty was, to be fair, in college special. But what is he listed? I mean, is he listed at 5'8"? Honestly, it's if you're going to take a running back that early, he's going to be that small. He's just got to be special. And it's only been 2 weeks for sure. I cannot on one side of my mouth say JJ McCarthy is growing and all this stuff and then say Ashton Genty, what's going on? But it just feels like the risk reward obviously is a lot different when you're taking a running back at number 4. You need a certain level of production out of that position. I guess it doesn't have to be in year 1, but it just feels like, again, if you're going to take that position that early, there's just so much other more valuable positions you could have gone there. Genty's got to I think it's got to be an intent from the Raiders. They have to try and make it work. But I think it's tough because of the fact that, Geno in week 1 was airing it out so well. I think that's obviously a better path to success for them than being a ground and pound team, especially if their defense can't really sustain being ground and pound.
Well, and the other part is running back clocks work different than quarterback clocks.
100%.
You're taking these guys expecting they're going to have 1,000 yards in year 1. And look, Genty doesn't have to play all the time. It's fine. I understand the snap count thing with running backs. I just didn't understand. It was why is it Zamir White in the 2-minute drill?
Zeus?
Just all the time. Just dump to White. The other white running back whose name I don't know, but he was out there a bunch, and I was just what is happening here? And I think the bigger part, too, is running game is such a byproduct of offensive line, and that Raiders offensive line is stinky.
It's very, very bad, and it's been bad for a long time. I shouldn't say very, very bad, but it is not one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. I mean, it's not as if it's been pieced together, but I think obviously you can just go back and look at their draft history. I mean, they've taken a lot of skill position players with those first round picks and not offensive linemen. And, I'm looking at it. The reason why I made an audible noise as you were talking there, Kyle, I'm looking at Ashton Genty's stats, 30 carries through 2 games, 81 total yards, 2.7 yards per carry.
And they're using
2 games.
They're using him as a pass catcher a bunch too, which is fine, but 2.7 yards per carry ain't going to cut it for any running back.
No, it's not. And, funny enough, you mentioned Zamir White, 5 carries, 6 yards for Zamir White. So he's actually outpacing his backup, which Trey Tucker has 1 carry for 7 yards. But, it's just I think to your line point, it isn't all on Ashton Genty. It is on the line as well. But, that's also kind of why, I've been helping out Jason Ross with the Sac State stuff. We talked to the Sac State running back coach, and the go-go offense heavily built on the run. The running back coach essentially said, we have some recruits here that we say, hey, it's 3rd and 3. Our offense wants us to run the ball. It might not be there all the time. The reason why we recruited you is to go get those 3 yards. And I think that's part of what it's unfortunate. It might not be fair, but I think that definitely fits to Ashton Genty here, where we might not have the best offensive line, but that's also why we took a running back at number 4, was to maybe say, if this guy's good enough, we don't need, it's a push and pull for sure. Clearly the offensive line still isn't good enough. I'm not going to completely put it on Genty's shoulders, but some of it is you're supposed to be special, and we just haven't seen special through 2
Sure,
games.
and part of it is Bowers being hurt too. Pass
Sure.
game opens up run game, things like
100%.
that. But it just doesn't make a lot of sense, especially because they're bringing in the Chip Kelly offense, which is like, it loves to run it. I don't know why they're not doing this with, I don't know why Genty isn't a bigger part of what they're doing, considering like the whole thing is kind of built on Gino having the big arm to air it out. You have some skill position. I mean, they've invested a lot in the skill position players, and that should open things up for the running game, and it just hasn't for the Raiders. Now, in fairness, too, Gino threw a lot of picks yesterday, so I think
3. I think he
Gino didn't really do his job in terms of airing it out. Gino in a dome is the thing Allen kept talking about. Gino in a dome. Gino in a dome.
Thing?
Well,
as a positive?
Yes. It's like, so, gosh, I can find the clip.
He's never played with a team that's in a dome. Huh?
No, we can find the clips
it's just
from
his stats in the dome.
Yeah, Chris Long had a thing on his show that was like Gino. Yeah, Dome Gino is like great, which I don't know why we're calling it Dome Gino. But anyways, this is kind of the basis of it. His stats are crazy.
There's Dome Gino and there's Outside Gino, and they are totally different players. This is something we have talked about on this show for a number of years here. He plays 5 outdoor games this year. He
one
played
of which was week 1
last year.
Okay.
Gino is going to go off. That's what I'm saying. Nolan, I said last night, I said, look me up some Gino stats. I'm too lazy to look them up because I've done it too many times. Nolan hit me with the figures.
All right, so over the last 3 years, his 3 years as a starter in Seattle, indoor or like retractable roof stadiums, 13 games, a 5.6 to 1 TD to interception ratio, 1.5 sacks per game, 66% completion, 103.6 rating. Outside, 36 games, 1.3 to 1 ratio, 3 sacks per game, same completion percentage, but the passer rating drops from 103.6 to 87 playing outside.
It's like 2 different players.
Indoor Gino is like we're talking about the big 5. Like
Indoor Gino is a big 5.
Yeah, indoor Gino is basically Justin Herbert, and outdoor Gino is basically a below-average quarterback. But not
I was going to say,
not for the Raiders.
We've seen the inverse of that.
Yeah,
the complete inverse.
Which
of that.
I think that one is the Patriots suck and the Chargers are good.
Sure.
But 3 interceptions, no touchdowns is one of Geno's worst games as a starter. And Geno Smith was not exactly killing it on the Jets.
No, not on the Jets, not on the Giants. And, I think even his Seahawks tenure was a little up and down. I think some of it was, for a while, people were like, is this real? Is this not real? Is he going to come back to earth? And then,
but also, Seahawks haven't had a good offensive line in God knows how long.
That's a great point.
And now he goes to the Raiders, who also don't have a good offensive line.
Yeah, no, and Geno through 2 games, 77 total passes, it feels kind of crazy.
To only have 29 points.
To only have 29 points. That's nuts. Yeah, 1 touchdown, which he had in that week 1 game. 4 interceptions now after 3 last night. And the one for game was just a bad throw. There was no need to really try and squeeze it in. I want to say it was on 4th down. That's maybe the only excuse that I'll give him, is that he was just kind of like, this is game. He's either going to catch a touchdown and we can, try and continue the comeback, or what happened, and he threw the pick. And it looked really bad, and the game was pretty much over at that point. But nonetheless, I mean, I think especially the Raiders and the Kings kind of have this kinship of fandom or of support, I guess, where I think you just expect bad from them every year from the outside, obviously, and the inside. Raider fans always have faith, are always going to believe in their team blindly. But it does feel like from the outside, I think the Raiders are going to start, and this is maybe even just hope, because I have so many Raider fans in my life that have just been begging for this team to get out of misery, to get out of their own way. I don't know if Tom Brady's going to help. Kyle and I were joking about Tom Brady and his lowering chair yesterday as they showed him in the coach's booth. Which is a whole nother set of issues also. I saw a ton of people having issue with Brady in the booth, and essentially I guess he did the Commanders game on Sunday, or on
he will do the Commanders.
He will do the Commanders game in terms of the broadcast.
Yes.
And so he essentially is like, just getting, I mean, you're going to be able to sit with the coaches. You can sit with the court. You can sit with whoever you want in these broadcaster meetings. And it's not inside trading, but I mean, essentially Tom Brady is getting a different level of insight that most owners or people that are sitting in the coach's booth on game days, he's going to get information that most of those people none of those people are getting. And so it's caused a lot of people to get upset. And
apparently, I think it was James Palmer who mentioned this, which I didn't realize, is that 2 or 3 times a week he's meeting with Chip Kelly, the Raiders offensive coordinator, which is kind of crazy. No owner normally would be doing that, but it's Tom Brady, like smartest football mind any of us know. I guess my kind of thought on it is like people are overreacting a little bit because, like, yes, it is a conflict of interest and Brady shouldn't be allowed to do some of these things. Yeah. I acknowledge that's the case. But if we're just going to ignore that and let Tom Brady be a broadcaster for Fox and own a team and kind of be an offensive coach for the Raiders while owning the team, everyone kind of knows now. So do you think these teams are going to be like, hey, Tom Brady, here's our playbook in these meetings? Like, these people are smart enough to not give Tom Brady inside information to their team.
So here's ESPN actually dropped this morning. They say the NFL announced Tuesday in a statement that Brady, a minority owner of the Raiders and a broadcaster for Fox, is, quote, prohibited from going to a team facility for practices or production meetings. So he's actually not allowed to be in those production meetings that I was talking about where you can get coaches, you can get quarterbacks, all that stuff. But the former star quarterback is allowed to sit in the coach's booth, according to the league. Quote, there is no policies that prohibit an owner from sitting in the coach's booth or wearing a headset during the game. Brady was sitting in the booth in his capacity as a limited partner. All personnel sitting in the booth must abide by policies and prohibit the use of other electronic devices other than league-issued equipment such as Microsoft Surface tablets for the sideline viewing system. So I guess there are some limitations that they're specifically giving to Brady, the not being able to visit other team facilities for practices and the production meeting, but as I believe it's Jim Irsay's daughter, who is the current owner of the Colts, she's gone pretty viral these first couple weeks because she's been standing on the sideline with a headset. And I think it's kind of interesting. I think it is, especially with owners, and we deal with it here in Sacramento. I think it's funny how things, and this is such an Allen thing to say, but like things can be perceived completely differently based off of if you're liked or not. Because if Vivek Ranadive is, we'll just say he has a headset that is linked to Doug Christie's coaches, and every time Doug and his coaches get together, Vivek, it's just going right into Vivek's ear, and he's hearing everything, which is what the Colts owner is doing, is she has a headset on. All the communication that's going to the quarterback, all the communications from the coaches, all of it is going into her headset, and she essentially is saying, I want to learn it all. I want to know if my coach is an idiot and something is my coach's fault, I want to know it's him. So it's for her an information gathering mechanism, but it's funny how I could see if Jerry Jones is doing that, if Mark Davis is doing that. Again, I think even if you were to bring it to Sacramento, like I think if Vivek were to have a situation, something like that, I think people would lose their minds.
Oh, for sure. Especially if it's someone who doesn't have a sports acumen, right? The reason
go ahead.
It's different with Tom Brady just because Tom Brady is like the smartest football mind of the last 20 years. So it's different when it's him versus the daughter of Jim Irsay, who's not going to be like scheming up. I mean, maybe she could if she wanted to.
Give her a couple months.
But I mean, if the Swifties can figure out how to dial up zone blitzes,
that's true.
But again, it's different when it's Tom Brady versus the Colts' daughter who's listening on the headset. Or if it were like Arthur Blank, who owns the Falcons, everyone would be like, sure, whatever. He seems like a fine guy.
Right.
It's different. I think it's just a Tom Brady thing.
It's so funny. And I mean, it is funny. I know we got to hit a break here, but I do think it's funny as well that there is like the very real thing that people who are usually, especially the best, but usually just in general, the greats, usually are like the worst coaches. They're usually the worst advisors because a lot of the time Tom Brady is probably, I guess, the different example, and you even correctly pointed out it's for Tom Brady's mind. But a lot of the time, especially if you ask Michael Jordan, LeBron James, like, hey, what's your best advice for breaking down a defense or something? Those guys are going to be like, I don't know. I just kind of do it. Like, I've just always been bigger, faster, stronger. Like, that's what I know to do. I can't explain to you how to do those things. And so, again, maybe Tom Brady's a better test case for it because it wasn't about Tom Brady's physicals. It was about his mental. But nonetheless, I do think that will, as it always is, will be an interesting thing to follow. Is it just inherent that because you are a great football player or a great quarterback or a great football mind playing, that you will be as successful or even remotely successful when it comes to what Tom Brady is trying to do, whether it be implement what he knows into his entire roster or giving direct notes. I don't know if he's like, is he meeting? You mentioned he's talking with Chip Kelly 2-3 times a week. Is he talking to Geno Smith 2 to 3 times a week? That would be something that I would much rather have. Coming up next, we're going to talk some Sacramento Kings, as there is more on the Jonathan Kuminga front than there even was yesterday. Sam Amick gives us a little bit of insight to where the Kings and the Suns stand as of right now in those negotiations. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sactown Sports.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Designed for working adults, focused on the future. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
The final days of Sacramento Rivercats baseball season are here, and you don't want to miss the action. Whether you're looking for an exciting night with friends or a special night with the family, there's no better place than Sutter Health Park. Join us from September 16th through the 21st as we celebrate giveaways, special theme uniforms, Fan Appreciation Day, and more. Get your tickets at rivercats.com before the season ends.
Go on a culinary adventure at one of Europe's biggest food events coming to the Americas, Terra Madre. Discover more flavors to savor, more ideas to chew on, more voices shaping the future of food. Join chefs Alice Waters, Sean Sherman, and Jeremiah Tower for tastings, pop-ups, food demos, and panels, all celebrating good, clean, and fair food for all. Terra Madre Americas, September 26th through 28th in Sacramento. Savor the journey. Visit TerraMadreUSA.com for more details. Terra Madre Americas is supported by Sacramento International Airport and brought to you by Slow Food and Visit Sacramento.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Thunder, feel the thunder. It's the energy all around you. Lightning and the thunder. The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration. Thunder. The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sactown Sports.
Hey now. Chris Watkins filling in for Allen Stiles as, yes, Allen adds a +1 to the family. All reports early are good, so love to hear that. Again, Allen will be joining us again in a couple weeks. So for now, you got me. You got Kyle Ledbetter. You get Whitey Gleason. No Jason Ross or Kyle Draper these next couple days because of the NBA's broadcaster meetings over in Secaucus, New Jersey. So hope those guys had safe travels, but you will more than likely – I don't think Drapes is going to be doing the show. I know obviously Jason wasn't doing it this morning. But, yeah, so those guys are going to be in New Jersey learning about all the new rules and points of emphasis in the NBA. I believe they'll be back on Thursday, so definitely am excited to hear – from those guys about what the league is emphasizing this year. It's always something new. I'm assuming they'll probably go into detail about the heave rule and all that stuff that we talked about yesterday, but it'll be interesting. I know Kyle had put it on my radar that they're going to kind of reinvigorate, I guess. I don't really think it can be reinvigorate because the NBA Cup never really was like a big thing, but they are going to try and shift some things around. More so, I believe it's just the final that's going to be held in Las Vegas this year. The game before that's going to be a home game still.
So this is interesting. I think it's going to be in Vegas this year, but they said neutral site location. So it makes me think that in future years it might be somewhere else. Shall we say?
Maybe they would do a super. What if I don't know if you have an idea, but like, do you think there's something there? Or my mind immediately went like, are we talking like a Super Bowl bid? Like this is going to be their version of like, hey, Sacramento, you guys want the NBA Cup? Like, sure, Sacramento would love to have it.
I think it could,
and it could be Charlotte. It could be like it's just every year.
I think it could be that, but I also think they're probably going to use it for international stuff. They're going to go to Mexico City one year.
Yes,
probably going to go to Vancouver one year.
France, all of it. Yeah,
France might be tough just because of the NBA schedule stuff, but it's a bonus game that doesn't exist. The ticket sales were awful in Vegas last year, which also it seems like Vegas not doing great right now.
No,
just in terms of
Vegas is expensive and no one's got money.
Yeah. I was again, I'm not a boxing person, but I was hearing people talk about like fight week was obviously this weekend. Just nobody in Vegas. Vegas was kind of dead around the Canelo Crawford fight. It wasn't like people were rolling up to Vegas to see what was happening. So anyways, I think the NBA is just like, we might take it somewhere else in the future because the Vegas thing, again, no one went to the games last year.
Very interesting. I know it's been announced that they're going to shift up the All-Star game format as well.
Conveniently, they announced that the day of the Kawhi scandal dropping. I was like, flash.
Exactly.
Look away. Look away from the Kawhi scandal.
Yeah, look away from the Kawhi scandal. Everyone's interested in the NBA All-Star game format, right? Like, here's a distraction.
It did not work.
Flash. It did not work.
Tells me that the NBA All-Star game is so dead.
It's done. I mean, it's cooked. I think the current iteration is going to be like 3 teams of 8 or something like that.
That was the same thing as last year. So they're going to do the rookie team or whoever wins the rookie sophomore.
That was also terrible. Nobody cared to see those guys.
It's going to be allegedly 2 USA teams and 1 international team, which I don't know how that's going to work. What if 10 international players make the All-Star team?
Or, I mean, bless Dennis Schroeder, as we've been calling him a Hall of Famer all week, but like, what if Dennis Schroeder is like the 10th international guy? And it's like, well, should Dennis Schroeder really be in the All-Star? Again, like, it was weird to see. I can't remember the exact players that were in that rookie sophomore team that ended up playing the All-Stars in their little round robin tournament. But I was in Chase Center and I remember thinking, A, this is not working, and B, why is Jabari Smith Jr. or whoever going against Giannis, KD, and Kyrie Irving right now?
Yeah, they're just kind of making it up as they go. And look, I kind of joke that like the All-Star game cycle now is like change the format, everyone likes it. Keep the format, everyone thinks it's boring. Keep the format, everyone hates it. Change the format. They just kind of change it every 2 or 3 years. At this point, I think you just can't keep tricking people into thinking this isn't what it is.
Just do Saturday. Figure out the dunk contest. If you really want to figure out any part of All-Star Weekend, figure out the dunk contest. Figure out how to not make it terrible, and just have that, the 3-point shootout. You can maybe do a horse. You can maybe figure out some sort of like fun game. The skills competition. Kyle, do you remember the shooting stars?
I do, yeah. I remember they
best.
They made people shoot like half-court shots.
Half-court shots. It would be a current NBA player, a WNBA legend, or current WNBA player, and a NBA legend. So we'll just do the Warriors are easy. They would have Steph Curry, they would have Veronica Burton, and they would have Jason Richardson or something. And that would be the 3 that would go against Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh won it.
Andrew Wiggins, he did. That's why I specifically.
It was like a dynasty.
Yes. Yeah. I think the Kings made it 1 year. I do not, for the life of me, remember who participated, but I feel like the Kings had 1 year where they were able to sneak in the shooting stars.
Well, and the other part I would say for the All-Star game is like, you know how Adam Silver's getting dragged for saying it's a highlight league at this point?
Yes, he did say
the entire purpose of the All-Star game is the clippable moments on Twitter, like Chris Paul and Wemby trying to cheat the system, some crazy dunk.
I forgot about those 2 lunatics really like sitting down and trying to game the system for the skills competition. They just like threw the balls up off the rack and like didn't even try to like score or do anything. They were like literally just, the game is to get the fastest time. Let's get the fastest time and forget about the basketball on the basketball All-Star game.
Which was pretty much just Chris Paul.
Yeah, exactly. To try and blame it on anybody else besides the freaking lunatic Chris Paul was absolutely insane.
So like that, if there's a crazy dunk, people will see it.
Yeah.
Personally, I've always said just appreciate it for what it is, and it is Steph lying on the ground as Giannis dunks over him during the All-Star game. Just appreciate the All-Star game is just going to be dudes throwing alley-oops to each other. It's fine.
And to me, if I'm being honest, I would much rather see a true, can we actually get some B-list celebrity All-Star game than the actual All-Star game. To me, the celebrity All-Star game is just riveting. And maybe I'm in the minority here, but to know that Justin Bieber actually hoops like that, to me gives me more respect to anything Justin Bieber does in his real life, infinitely more than if I were to listen to an album that I was like, oh, that actually wasn't bad, which by the way, Justin Bieber Swag 1 much better than Swag 2. But
isn't Swag 2 the guy on ESPN?
That's Swagoo. That's Marcus Spears? No. I always get that confused. There's Marcus Spears, Marcus something. There's another Spears.
Mark Spears.
Don't give me. I sent Kyle immediately after our show yesterday a screenshot of a man that I couldn't get out of my head. Isaiah Pinheiro. I said his name 3 times in reference to Eddie Pinheiro, the new kicker for the 49ers. And I was like, it was one of those where I said it the first time. I said Isaiah Pinheiro, and I was like, that just, when you kind of have the gist, but you're like, I'm not sure if that was right.
Yeah, I
think you gave me a look, and you let it slide. Then I did it a second time, and you're like, it's Eddie. And I was like, okay, for sure. And then in my head, I was like, I know you're right, but I also don't feel like I'm wrong. And then eventually I got to Isaiah Pinheiro, who was he's local, which is probably why I remember him, but also he had a training camp invite to the Kings. No joke,
a decade
5
ago,
to 8 years ago. And for some reason I remember him like he's my neighbor.
Yeah, it's basketball sickos like you that love that and the celebrity all-star game, which this is a real story. Alan's friend was putting
Alan's actual friend.
Alan's friend was put. Alan's friend was
that friend. Yeah.
Putting down over-unders on Drewski points in the celebrity all-star game, which I said, Alan, tell your friend to call the number if you're putting down Drewski over-under 6.5 points in the celebrity all-star game.
No, that's some real sicko stuff. I will not even consider looking at any NBA preseason anything to even think about, and like, yeah, because the problem is I know he like really thought about it. He was like, dude, like it's Drewski, like they were looking for clout, like there's no way they're not gonna. That's the most Allen Stiles friend thing that I have ever heard in my life. We didn't have time to get to Sam Amick and where he has the Kings and the Suns currently in the Jonathan Kuminga saga. We will get to that on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sactown Sports.
I'm tired of being broken. I'm sick of feeling hopeless.
Hey, this is Jelly Roll. This National Recovery Month, start your recovery journey. Choose a proven addiction treatment option that's right for you at choosechangeca.org.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game and high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy place every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time to panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Hold the onions. For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. into 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin. And over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding.
The Bean, and every game we fight to win.
Abnormal bleeding.
Using the all-new City Edition uniform in Beam Glow
may bruise more easily
for the light
longer.
that inspires
a
us
spinal
all.
injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Listen to the 49er Rewind daily. Brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza, the way it ought to be.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Oh boy, let's get into it. Mr. JK, Jonathan Kuminga. The story that keeps giving. The saga that won't stop.
Thankfully for us.
Thankfully for all Sacramento radio, and I'm sure the Bay's eating off it too still. They're probably sick of it. They're probably really, here's the other thing too. If Jonathan Kuminga were a king, he would be in contention for the most hated king of all time if he were putting the Kings through something like this.
That's a high bar too.
This is I I really haven't been able to put myself in like a Warrior fan shoe, thankfully. That's very hard for me to do. But this is, again, we talked about how unique and how crazy in general it is that Jonathan Kuminga, somebody who's not a star, is able to hold this much leverage or perceived leverage in these negotiations. I would say actual leverage because, again, as we discussed yesterday, the offer is only getting better from the Warriors on the Jonathan Kuminga front. So it's just crazy. Again, if I were a Warrior fan, I feel like there would be more frustration than anything. And it does, maybe this thing does end with sign and trade and, maybe you get Malik Monk and a future first-round pick to make you feel better about it. But I don't know. Again, it feels like, especially knowing the Sacramento audience, this would not be something that you could come back to. You would come back, as a matter of fact, you would come back to a Jason Terry level treatment for those who know. And you would get booed every single time you touch the ball. I guess maybe modern day you would call it the Marvin Bagley treatment, where the entire arena is just fixated on one person.
Or Buddy Hield.
Which I think might get, that could get more contentious if the Warriors start getting good. And start getting good. That's a little bit of a shot.
Let's get back to being good.
Get back to being great. And if Buddy, who likes to vocalize things, if Buddy does what Buddy tends to do, which, let's not forget, Buddy has already done a good bit of stuff, even just like his time in Indiana. If I remember correctly, he like flipped off the camera like in the background of a press scrum or something like that, and was like, I don't know, he said some stuff that like you can only hear in the background of a video. Weird stuff. I digress. Let's talk about Jonathan Kuminga in the Sacramento Kings, because there's no way anybody's sick and tired of this. This is from Sam Amick, who we all know, love, and respect here. He writes in The Athletic, quote, as it relates to the Kings, who have offered, as we discussed yesterday, veteran guard Malik Monk in a protected 2030 first-round pick to the Warriors, while agreeing to give Kuminga a 3-year, $63 million deal. Their insistence on including protections on the first rounder remains the main obstacle to a possible deal. Here is some new information, ladies and gentlemen, that should potentially get you excited if you want this saga to be over. Sam Amick writes, quote, if the protections were dropped completely, there are some stakeholders who believe the Warriors would likely change their stance. Quote, as I reported previously, the fact that the Warriors would likely have to trade Moses Moody or Buddy Hield to stay under the first apron of the luxury tax in a Kings deal is also said to be a deterrent. So it's not just, excuse me. To me, that's really what the biggest negative is that the Warriors, as we've discussed, already don't have a full roster. And now you're telling them another one of like the 6 or 7 players that you actually do have on your roster that you were planning to be there, along with Jonathan Kuminga, also has to go. And Moses Moody is somebody we've talked ever since, frankly, Moses Moody was drafted with Jonathan Kuminga, if I'm not mistaken, that he's a guy who seems like he could be good if given more opportunity. Hasn't really worked out in Golden State, but I guess last year was where he found his most footing. And then we just discussed Buddy Hield and where he stands. The bigger point is the Warriors, I don't think, want to lose either of those guys. It's not a, okay, like we can afford to, I'm trying to think of maybe somebody who would be in the Kings position where they would just be okay with him being a casualty. I mean, I guess with how they've been treating him, like I think Devin Carter, I guess, would be to that level for the Kings right now, or, Terrence Davis might have been like obviously somebody that they just didn't really care to see.
Dario Saric.
There we go.
Not comparing him to Moody, but
no,
same idea.
As a matter of fact, we're not. That's exactly what we are not doing, is saying Moses Moody and Buddy Hield is somebody that they would actually want to keep, versus it's not a Dario Saric situation where, of course, the Kings would say, yeah, that's all we got to do is get rid of a guy that we don't really have hard plans for. Absolutely. Sam Amick continues to write, Monk's current contract runs through the 27-28 season when he has a player option worth $21.5 million. The length of his deal possesses a similar problem to the one that the Warriors have had in negotiations with Kuminga, as they wanted to maintain maximum flexibility for that 2027 summer, which Kyle and I talked about yesterday. This is where this starts to be where, if you are a Kings fan, you might want to cover your ears. The Warriors, who are well aware that Giannis Antetokounmpo and Denver's Nikola Jokic both have player options for the 27-28 season, are hardly alone on this star hunting front. High-profile teams like the Lakers and Clippers have sent similar signals in recent months. There was also a little bit of notes in terms of the Malik Monk front as well. Sam writes, quote, team sources say that the Kings are under the impression that Kuminga does, in fact, want to play for them. The Warriors shut down talks with both teams earlier in the summer, but could always pick up the phone at the 11th hour as it relates to the Kings who offered. And then that's kind of where we picked up as well. So essentially saying there as well, the Kings believe that Jonathan Kuminga wants to be on their team. We know that the Suns are another team involved. We know that this whole saga could end with Jonathan Kuminga just staying on the Warriors. I believe that is the first time it has been in hard print or any sort of official record that Jonathan, and I don't even think he says, it's directly attributed to Jonathan Kuminga, but just team sources say the Kings are under the impression that Jonathan Kuminga does in fact want to play for them.
The only thing we have, and we laughed about this so much, was when the first big Slater story came out. Mark Spears went on NBA Today and was he wants to go.
That's right.
And we were like, whoa, no one had said that. And then Mark Spears was just like, Kuminga wants to go to Sacramento.
I do kind of think that it's true, if it helps.
I think Kuminga wants to go. I just think I've looked at it this whole time as like Sacramento is his only option to go. I don't know if it's like, I want to play with Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray and for Doug Christie. You know, I'm sure he doesn't have an issue with those guys, but it's like, well, if it's Sacramento or Golden State, how can we get to Sacramento?
Well, if we were to try and just play the hypothetical game of like, what is the most perfect situation? I guess like Miami would be another, but like, I do actually think if you're just doing, I don't know financially if that works anymore, but
it would have hit the deadline, which I still can't believe Miami couldn't get Kuminga.
It's nuts. It really doesn't make any sense in that Jimmy Butler trade, but I kind of think the Kings are like a pretty perfect team for Kuminga because of the fact that like Domantas Sabonis is your best player and they are so close to the Warriors. Like I think Kuminga's big thing right now is that he wants a role and he wants it to be a big role. And I think the Kings offer him at the very least because of the position they're in, unless he wants to go to like a Brooklyn or a Charlotte or a bad team like that, which I just don't think he does. I think he wants to, I think he wants to start obviously, but I think he wants to be a guy that the team grows and builds around. And I think we've talked about it a ton. He would be the youngest player on this Kings team with the exception of Maxime Reynaud, I believe.
I don't even think that's true.
It might just be point blank period. He would be the youngest player on the roster. Let's see here. But, and I think that's what the value is for him going to the Kings is that he would be a very young piece that they would be excited about, which I also think is a piece of this as well, is how much of this is just Jonathan Kuminga wants to feel wanted.
Jonathan Kuminga would be 6 months older than Maxime right now.
6 months older. Okay, so there you go. Which is just crazy. Again, because we're talking about Maxime Reynaud and how he really – the thing he needs a lot is some defensive exposure in the NBA. Kuminga is 6 months older than him, but has 4 years of NBA experience to lean on already. That's invaluable. Like, again, to get a guy who is the age of Maxime Reynaud, but has been in the league for 4 years already and averaged, just over 15 points a game last season and a situation where he wouldn't say he was happy. I don't think the team would say they were happy with him. Like in about as bad, not a bad situation, as bad of a situation as you can be in, because he still was with the playoff team Warriors, but in a situation that was as non-copacetic to him as you can imagine.
He's great word.
Thank you. He still managed to put up numbers. And again, it was not pretty if you were looking at it from the outside in, because it just felt like there was a lot of infighting. It felt like, Jonathan Kuminga was, I guess, having success in spite of the Warriors. It was weird because it was almost like is he playing too well to where now we might have to give in to a little bit of his request. So I just think the situation wasn't great for him mentally. It wasn't, as Steve Kerr put it many times, and we referenced Kuminga referencing it in yesterday's show, but I don't think he felt like Steve Kerr wanted him in that team or felt like it was a seamless fit to be on that roster. So I think any sort of more copacetic situation would be beneficial for Kuminga, and that would definitely be something that they offer him here in Sacramento. And again, the role is there, the position is there. I would love to see what Doug Christie does, getting his hands on him as well. Doug is somebody who leads with love. Like, he is somebody who would, where again, Kuminga has been in a pretty, I won't call it a battering situation, but again, like, he's not being propped up in that Warrior situation. Draymond Green is telling him every single day to fit in and instead of fitting out. And I just feel like here in Sacramento, it would just be a complete breath of fresh air. So again, I've never been the most massive fan of Jonathan Kuminga as an individual game, but I just think it's the facts of the matter are just too great to decline. The fact that it is a young, athletic wing that you can bring on, not for free, obviously, but essentially out of thin air, those things don't just pop up. And if the Kings can capitalize on that, that is, again, just something that to this Kings franchise does not happen. The Kings do not get fortunate. They do not get the, it's calling Kuminga a star would definitely be loose, but, a really good player wants out. Sacramento is definitely not usually on their list of preferred destinations. So it would be a great opportunity for the Kings to pounce on, regardless, I think, of what you actually think about Jonathan Kuminga. I just think the opportunity cost is just too great for the Kings. Coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit of A's baseball with third base coach Eric Martins. He joins the program every single week. We got to ask him about that Nick Kurtz home run. Has it landed yet? Has they found it? What was Eric Martins doing at that time? He was obviously standing at third base. What was his angle of it all? We will get his thoughts on all of that and more coming up next. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's going on? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, tell me what's going on for Chrysler's Drive into Fall sales event.
I had to triple check this because it seems too good to be true. Right now, lease a new 2024 Dodge Hornet RT Plus plug-in for as low as $69 a month for 24 months and $19.95 due at signing.
Wait, isn't that where you usually say taxes and fees are extra?
Not today. You can drive a brand new Dodge Hornet for $69 a month and only $19.95 due at signing. That's it. No surprise fees, taxes, or license. Hence why I had to triple check to make sure this was legit, because it's the best deal I've seen all year.
Better hurry in before they're gone. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
Lease of $69 for 24 months with $19.95 due at signing after $6,500 SFS hybrid electric federal tax credit and $4,000 SFS lease cash. Must finance through Stellantis. 7,500 miles per year, 30 cents per mile over. 3 at this net savings. Sample VIN A22311. See dealer for details.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, everything you need and nothing you don't.
Hey everybody, it's Kyle Draper for Bell Brothers, the no surprise guys. Right now is the perfect time to upgrade your heating and cooling system. They offer $2,500 off. Plus, if you get a new system, they'll throw in a free 50-gallon water heater. They handle all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. Bell Brothers, the no surprise guys. Visit nosurpriseguys.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports, 1140. Live and local
It's Allen Stiles.
on Sactown Sports.
Welcome into the Allen Stiles Show. Chris Watkins filling in for Allen Stiles as he is still on paternity leave. All good reports coming from Allen, who is hitting my phone up during the break. Seems all good. Seems like he's good. He's not producing the show from afar like he was yesterday, making Kyle, drop drops while he's away, directing us what to do. But even though Allen's not here, doesn't mean we miss the best guests. And that is going to be joining us here, third base coach for the Athletics, Eric Martins, who I saw some red bleachers behind him. Must be at the wonderful Fenway Park. Coach Martins, it looks beautiful there. Oh my, look at that. Wow. That is absolutely incredible. Coach Martins, I was just in Chicago last weekend and got to go to a game at Wrigley Field. Obviously one of the classic, beautiful stadiums in this country. If you had to give us one, what's your favorite ballpark?
Wow. I mean, that's a tough question. I got a top five, that's for sure. I mean, a day game in Wrigley, there's nothing better than that. I mean, LA is great. The Dodgers, I mean, that's where I'm from. It's just something special about there. I really like Seattle. I really like Minnesota. It's crazy. I know there's some different ones out there that I really like.
Yeah.
We're heading to Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh's going to be really nice. So I mean, there's it's hard to name just one, but I do have a list of stadiums that I really like. So this is one of them. This is just so iconic. I mean, you walk on the field here and it's crazy, right? So
yeah, I mean, with those kind of ballparks, I mean, specifically, Fenway and Wrigley, like, do you kind of feel, even as a coach, like, do you feel the gravity or the weight of being in those venues?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you walk through it's weird here because you walk down the stairs from the clubhouse here and walking down the stairs through the tunnel to get up to the field, and you get to the field level, it still gives you a little bit of still gives me goosebumps, you know what I mean? It's being able to walk onto the field here at Fenway and, watching all our young players who have never been here walk through it and experience it. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, definitely still gives you those moments of being like, wow, this is really special.
So I know Sutter Health has some quirks to it, but Fenway and Wrigley are kind of notorious because they're so old to just have some of the most insane stuff. Wrigley's got seats that are completely blocked or facing the wrong way. What's maybe some of the crazier things that you've seen in some of these older parks?
Well, I mean, here I'm sitting in these seats and I'm like, I don't know how people can sit in these seats for 9 innings and because they jam you in here. You know what I mean? These seats aren't very comfortable. They're hard, but there are some obstructed views. I mean, you got the pillars in some places, you got pesky pole down in right field. And so, and as far as the quirks on the field, you got pesky pole, you got the monster, you got different kind of things here. So it's definitely a different feel of a stadium because if you look at it from the side, it's just, there's so many different angles that, when we come here as a team and people if you haven't played here, you got to really get used to it and get out there and kind of get the lay of the land. So,
man, absolutely. Fenway is definitely on the list of stadiums that I got to go visit. But let's talk into some baseball here. Coming off the sweep of the Reds that you guys have, you guys now sit 10 games under 500. I saw that you guys are 51-18 when you score 5 or more runs. And I don't mean to turn it into a negative, but just how much do you guys think about that rough stretch that you guys went through in May and just how different the season could have looked if that just went a little bit different?
Well, that is the season, what I mean? And I think I publicly say it all the time and say it on the show a lot. I mean, even if we cut that in half, we're sitting somewhere different, maybe we don't make the moves that we made and maybe one of those things that, you go through those stretches, you hope and pray that it doesn't go as long as it did, but unfortunately it did for us. But, we also learn from those things too. So it's like, got to go out there. We just got to, finish off strong and still be able to go out and finish off the season where we want to. And I mean, ultimately the playoffs is what we want to do, but we're playing playoff teams right now. So we have a chance to go out and show them what we got. So, which is good. And we're playing some pretty good baseball right now. And I think our guys have got the eye of the prize of finishing up strong, being able to go out and play these playoff teams pretty good.
We got Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. Coach, now we got to get to the positives, and there was maybe not a bigger, louder positive than Nick Kurtz on Saturday, hitting that, 493 dead center grand slam. I mean, I guess you were at third base, but kind of what was your vantage point of it? I know I saw a video of Lawrence Butler just turning around and looking like Vincent Van Gogh Scream. Like, what were your thoughts when it happened? And just in general, I mean, how special is it to just watch Nick Kurtz hit the baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I got one of the best views of it. So I, as soon as it left the bat, I was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So, and just watch it. That ball got small real quick. I think they're still picking it up off the bridge somewhere. 193 feet, I think was, they might have short side on that because that ball looked like it was, it just did. No, I mean, it was special to hear it and to see it and to be able to get that view from it. But it isn't when you're field and you get to see it like that. It definitely gives you a different vantage point, so which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was one of the furthest ball. I mean, it was the furthest ball hit of the MLB season. And I think Kyle, the board op over there, said that they have not found the ball. They're still trying to find it. They're trying to retrieve it. Who knows if it's even landed yet? I also saw a video of Butler the other day saying that he thought Nick Kurtz is, and just as a hitter, he put him kind of in the top 5 conversation, put him with the Judges, the Otanis, the Sotos. I won't make you put that level of pressure on him, but again, I mean, I guess I'm just asking, do you feel like that's fair? Do you feel like he can be in that conversation? Do you feel like he already is in that conversation?
Now, you know what I mean? He's showing what he can do, and he's going to be in that conversation soon. But now would be it would be unfair to him and unfair to some of the players that have done it for a little bit longer than he has. So, but we talk maybe next year and we talk a little bit later. He's definitely going to be in that conversation.
There you go. That's exactly what you should say, Coach. You don't want to put all the pressure on him. I mean, look, let the numbers do the talking, though. 16 Oppo home runs, leading Major League Baseball, are tied with Aaron Judge. 32 home runs in 90 games or something like that. You don't have to put the pressure on him. Let everybody else do the talking. But we all see what's happening here. We understand how special it is. And just I don't mean to make you speak for Lawrence Butler, but again, I saw him say that he thinks you guys are or can be or on the fringe of being a top 5 offense in this league. I kind of mentioned you guys being 51-18 when you guys score 5 or more runs. Do you think that you guys are that good of an offense? Do you feel like, again, maybe next season that's going to be the goal for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the numbers. I mean, we're going to have 3 guys hit 30 and close to 4 guys that hit 30 home runs. But on top of, we got Jacob Wilson who can hit for average, and you got Rooker who can hit for average, Kurtz who can average. I mean, Lawrence Butler is not having his best year that he did, but he's still putting up some pretty decent numbers, and he's going to learn from what he did this year. We got other guys, Langoliers, and, we're finding guys that are starting to come up and do some stuff. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time for our offense, and, we got to just put everything together because we feel like we're in every single game. It doesn't matter if we go out and we give up a few runs the first inning, we're going to gradually come back and be able to win that ball game. So we definitely are an offense to be reckoned with, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and that is definitely clear and evident from everything that you've seen from this team so far this season. Coach Eric Martins, thank you so much for joining us. You can go ahead and enjoy your time over there in Boston as the season's wrapping up. But thank you so much for joining us, and I believe we'll have you next week as well.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate it. Take care.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Third base coach for your Athletics, Eric Martins. A lot of great stuff there. Absolutely love to have him on every single week. You can catch him and Allen talking. You can check out our YouTube page to go check out the previous interviews that Allen has done with Coach Eric Martins. He's been joining us all season long, giving us all the insight on A's baseball. So we really, really appreciate him. And I'm not joking. Like I don't have a long list of stadiums that I'm trying to visit that I like are on my must-haves, but Fenway is definitely one of those where, even Frankie the Yankee, our dear coworker, had to make sure that I think he even got seats on the Monster.
We bring the ball. That's what we do.
So, it's one of those stadiums where you have to be there. And again, like I think it's quirky for sure. Again, like they built those things, they just plopped them in a neighborhood, so the dimensions can be a little bit strange. Not the on-field dimensions, but those are a little bit strange too. But more so like the orientation of the park. Again, some of the seats turning the wrong way, obstructed views. I've seen some YouTube videos of people who are like consciously trying to get the worst seats possible in those things. I don't think that's what I'm going to do, but they quite literally don't make stadiums like that anymore. And I think, that's kind of the charm of going to those Fenways, those Wrigleys and things like that. So there you go. You heard me mention it. The A's only 10 games. I say only 10 games under 500. Again, they just absolutely could not find a win in that month of May. And that really sunk their entire season. I can't remember what exactly the number was, but it was like I think they had won 2 of 22 games or something like that in the month of May. And you heard Coach Eric Martins really just lay it there. Like that was the season. And that's crazy to say in a season as long as baseball, but that's also how bad they played for that stretch of games.
Yeah, I think they bring up that since July 27th, they have like the 4th best record in baseball.
Really?
Yeah, if you again take out that stretch, they would be 10 games above 500, which again is a big thing to take out.
Yeah.
Going 1-21.
Sure. Yeah,
but they would be kind of a fringe playoff team if, like Eric said, if they just went like 8-12 during that stretch instead of
average.
Yeah, 1 and
slightly below.
Yeah, they would be not in the playoffs, but they would be in the race right now with Texas and Boston and Seattle, and Houston, who are all kind of fighting for that last wild card spot.
Yeah, and to be fair, especially looking hindsight being 2020, it was a pretty brutal stretch. I mean, they went from playing the Yankees, who they actually, they took 1 of 3, but and then they took 1 of 3 from the Dodgers, but they won the first one against the Dodgers 11-1. I feel like something memorable happened in that game that was like a multi-home run game or something. There was something really special about that game.
Langoliers did something.
Yeah. Maybe it was that, because there was something where it was like, oh my God, the A's just beat the Dodgers. Like, are they kind of building towards something? And then lose the next 2 to the Dodgers, get swept by the Giants, get swept by the Angels, get swept. Take 1 of 3 from the Phillies, get swept by Houston, get swept by Toronto, and then lose 3 of 4 to the Twins. And as Eric Martin said, that's your season.
Yeah.
All in the month of May. And after that, I mean, you're just chasing yourself at that point, and they've done a great job. To Kyle's point, fourth best record in MLB, really pretty much post that stretch, and it just doesn't matter because they put themselves in such a deep hole. But I guess all you can hope for a casual A's fan or Athletics supporter, if you just want to go to games, like I do think next year it's got to feel like they're at least building towards more excitement, right? Like Kurtz will be there day 1. Jacob Wilson will be there day 1. Mentioned Lawrence Butler, who had a really slow start to the season. Brett Rooker had an incredibly hot start to the season, in a sense, cooled down in terms of the power hitting. There's definitely a world where all the things are clicking for the A's at the same time. And they're at least, the A's that we've known them to be off and on throughout this generation. And it's just, the team that can compete in the AL West, but I don't know if we're going to be talking about them competing for a World Series anytime soon.
I don't know. You should say fingers crossed, too, because if Mason Miller has taught us anything, you don't know who's going to be on the A's the next day.
I mean, we can talk about their offense night and day. The problem with this team is not the offense.
Oh, sure. But, like, Mason Miller was the rare combination of a player is great right away and had team control, and they traded him for guys who, again, might be better than Mason Miller, but again, it doesn't help people in Sacramento because those players are never going to play at Sutter Health Park.
No, yeah, DeVries or DeVries.
Yeah,
I said DeVry like university.
I did. Don't worry, I did the same thing.
I mean, yeah, to your point, like he'll play when the team goes to Vegas. Like Sacramento's not going to know those guys, but again, and even then, that's more hitting, maybe some defense, not really solving their problem of pitching.
But these are the names you just mentioned. These are the players who are going to be associated with the Sacramento era of the A's. And Allen keeps making this point, and I think I've come around on it, is like if they are in the playoff race next year, I think they're going to sell pretty good tickets. I think the PR of it all is kind of washed at this point. You're never going to be able to win all those people back, but I think if they're, in the 5 seed or the 6 seed come July, I think they're going to be selling out most games. I think that's the one saving grace that's left for them is if they have a playoff caliber team.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Because is it really about success? Your point is that it's not necessarily about, it is more just, it'll make you more likely. I just don't necessarily know that the people care. Like, I mean, they're going to care if you're absolutely terrible. Is competitive what people will get people out there?
I think it's the only thing we don't know because they've tried everything else, right?
Well, except for being like actually really good.
Well, yeah, being good or caring, but we can't make them care.
Yeah.
But if they're good, then maybe people will care anyways. You're right. It might not get people excited.
I mean, I really just don't know because the A's fans they've got their heels dug in terms of like the real A's fans. Like, and I don't mean to discount anybody when I say that, but I just mean like the people who are very passionate, I guess, very diehard. I think they've already made their stance clear, and I definitely don't think them being good would make those people happy. It just, and you've been to way more A's games, especially recently than I have, so you probably have a better gauge on what demographic, if it's families, if it's people who look like they're season ticket holders, like what are the people who are actually still showing up to the games? I guess it's just going to be if it's something, to me, it's more of a culture thing. And maybe that's me being in the right age range, but to me, if the city doesn't feel like they're excited about it, I don't know if success is going to change the attendance.
I mean, we just saw that this weekend. I mean, we mentioned it yesterday.
Yeah.
All games at the same time. You had Sac State versus Mercyhurst. Yep. You had the Sac Republic match, and you had the A's game with the Hall of Fame induction, which I forgot to bring that T-shirt again to show you what it looked like. But you had them all at the same time on Saturday night, and the A's were the lowest attended of all the three. Now, granted, there's A's games every night, so their probably total attendance is going to be higher. But for that one night, which was a special event night for the A's, more people were going to Republic matches, a team that is actually really good and might win a trophy next week or next month.
Right.
And the Sac State, which they're not great right now, but there's more excitement around Sac State football than there's ever been.
Yeah, and I guess I'm probably also discounting the early success too, right? I mean, when I was going to the A's games, those things were packed. The first couple games were packed, and the A's, to say they didn't play well the first couple series in Sacramento is putting it as an understatement. I mean, the Cubs were literally having a home run derby that first series, and that might have put a lot of people off from Jump Street. And so who knows? I mean, I guess to that point, like if they start the season, it's going to be a full house for opening day or whatever.
Well, they better hope so.
I would expect it to be. I would expect Sacramento still will show up undoubtedly for an event, for something that feels, again, it's a little bit of a one-off, but I think the problem becomes once everyone went to a game and the A's weren't successful, there was no reason to go back unless tickets were just insanely cheap or you wanted to have a day out there. If the A's are more successful to start the season, if they have some moments at home, which I guess might also play a factor in this, is it just took them forever to start to feel like Raleigh or Sutter Health Park was their home at all. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll still hold out a little bit of hope, but to me, it just feels like, I won't say they've done damage in this first season, but it just doesn't feel like they've made much inroads in this first season, to the point where we'll see what they do in terms of promotions next year. But I don't know how you get these people excited, the people of Sacramento excited, and extended Sacramento excited for what would be different next year.
When you've already shown disinterest, right? They would like people to show up, but for whatever their reasons are, they've decided the brand is not going to be associated with Sacramento, whether it's the just calling themselves the Athletics or the not having Sacramento on the jerseys and all the stuff like that we've been talking about for months, right? The PR, I think, is kind of gone at this point. There's already kind of a disinterest, and I don't know how they're going to be able to bring it back. But if this all just is about making a little bit of money, I mean, just have a team that is half decent, and again, hope for those 8 games a year where the Dodgers are coming to town and the Giants are coming to town, and the Yankees and the Red Sox. You know, you can sell a bunch of tickets those weekends.
What do you think? I'm just now thinking of this from a marketing standpoint, almost exclusively. Would it make a lot of sense for the A's to kind of ball out on a starting pitcher this offseason, just to kind of have that every 5 games, it's at least going to be worth the price of admission, or at least like you get the marquee excitement?
I mean, they kind of tried. And Severino,
is that what you would consider Severino? Who, I mean,
I think he was the opening day starter.
What's the opposite of Scott Perry's "We want volunteers, not hostages"? Luis Severino getting paid a bunch of money that he openly admits he did not want to take, but his agent told him he had to take to come play. What an incredible! Maybe during one of these breaks, I'll dig out that article of Severino and all of his quotes about just how I literally didn't want to be here. They offered.
It was crazy. The Yankees people came to town with all the.
It was that weekend. Yeah,
all the reporters that he was comfortable with were like, "Hey, man, how are you doing?" And he was just like, "Oh man, this sucks.
This sucks, guys. You wouldn't believe it." And then him falling on the mound. Do you remember that?
That was so funny.
Was it a fake? Did he even try and injure it, like fake injury, or did he just?
No, he just tried to keep digging into the mound. He also did on the first 2 pitches of the game too. Oh, so funny.
I love how honest he's been this entire time, I will say.
Super appreciate it, because one of the things I've gotten the vibe of just being around the A's more often this year is just everyone has to pretend that this is normal.
Yeah.
And that's just
From
so
Jump
unfair.
Street. Yeah.
It just is completely unfair to the like Dallas Braden mentioned it, like the professionals in that locker room are not going to let on just how hard this has been.
Yeah.
But it has been. And people are trying to pretend like it's not, and it's fine, but you're not really expecting people to come out and really support it if you're going to do that.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think that's where, when you're going to talk about, how much is this helping in general Sacramento's case for keeping a team long term, I just don't know if it's really been beneficial, like overall, especially when you factor in everything, when you factor in the attendance and you factor in just the game day experience. Obviously, it would be improved. That wouldn't be the place where, if they were to be permanent, they wouldn't play there. So the all the issues that people have with bathrooms or with whatever doesn't quite meet modern day standards wouldn't necessarily uphold. But I just think if you're going to give yourself a showcase, you should probably showcase yourself at the highest level. And I think that's the real point of contention that a lot of people have had since day one is, okay, that's fine. I get it, but what makes us think that this is going to actually get us any closer to getting the team?
Well, the longer this has gone on, the more I feel convinced that there was never really much of a shot for them to get a team.
100%.
Because there is still the barrier to entry of, we need someone who's got $3 billion to stunt on buying a team or paying an expansion fee and building a $2 billion stadium, which, if Vivek really wanted to, I think he could do it, but it's very expensive to get an MLB team, to get any major professional sports team nowadays.
No, and if he's going to build the stadium and all that stuff, that's a certain level of attention that I I just don't think the Kings, not that it matters because it's his money, his team, but I don't think Kings fans would be super happy and haven't really already been happy with Vivek's involvement outside of the Kings when the Kings haven't really been top tier.
And the mayor went on with the Drive guys and kind of made the point like, we're 1-4, so if we attend games, then maybe we'll have a better chance. And it's no, you got to have billions of dollars lined up to build a stadium and buy a team like Nashville's had for years. Yep. Salt Lake City, the guy who owns the Jazz, would be ready to do it in a heartbeat. Yep. He's got the money and the desire.
And
Portland
proof of concept too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just there are many steps that I don't think Sacramento was ever prepared to really dive into.
Yeah, I don't mean to give a weird flex, but this weekend at Country in the Park, I was talking with we don't have any flyers. Mitchell Tenpenny, who was one of the artists who he actually ended up headlining because our headliner couldn't make it because he was having throat issues. I talked to him because he had a Nashville sound hat on, and he said he was very, very, very involved with the process with the MLB of getting the MLB to Nashville, and he sounded very confident. And also, just from the maybe 5-minute conversation I had with him, he mentioned multiple meetings that he had with the MLB and other investors as well, trying to get that thing over to Nashville. You pointed out they've been trying to do that for a very long time, so maybe there's a better system in place. But what I took from it was there's a lot of people fighting to get teams in their cities, and a lot of people with more power than what is in Sacramento. And also it just makes a lot more sense in a lot of other places. So we love the Athletics being here for now, but hopefully next season they can give fans more to be excited about for the entirety of the season. Coming up next, Kings released their new City Edition jerseys, as today is 9/16, 9/16. Happy 9/16 day, everybody. Let's talk about some new Kings jerseys. Coming up on the other side, Allen Stiles Show, Sactown Sports.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A+ Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part, they accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Injured at work? Call downtown.
DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero upfront. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com. Text charges may apply.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Everybody knows that Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is the spot to get yourself a brand new car. That's why people are coming from all over. Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville. But they also have the best selection of pre-owned vehicles. All makes and models, every one of them top quality, hand-selected by General Manager Chuck Dean. Over 70 vehicles below $30,000, over 25 below $20,000. You can see that full lineup at SacSuperstore.com. And if you find a lower price somewhere else, they'll match it. And on top of that, the best car buying experience anywhere. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Welcome back to the Allen Stiles Show. Chris Watkins filling in for Allen Stiles. Happy 916 Day to all those celebrating out there. The Kings celebrated early this morning and gave a gift to us all with the new City Edition jerseys, which if you're checking us out over on the YouTube, you can get a better. I think we're going to play a video, and we're also going to show the video, the jerseys as well. So
it's more than just
if you want to / haven't had the opportunity yet to look at the Kings' new jerseys, you can check them out over on our YouTube stream right now. And yeah, Kyle, you got the video ready to go. So here is the video announcing.
It's more than just a ray of light. The beam is victory. It's joyful and contagious, but most of all, it's ours. For the team we fought to keep and every game we fight to win. The beam is friends. It's family. It's this team, and it's this town. Introducing the all-new City Edition uniform in Beam Glow Purple, for the light that inspires us all.
Beautiful stuff there. I don't believe that's any Sacramento figure doing the voiceover. For a second I thought it was Jason Bateman. Then I was like,
couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. So not as if that's Hassan Minhaj, who I think did it a couple years ago, or and any other Sacramento celebrity. Could they have gotten Greta Gerwig to do it? I don't know. I'm available. They could have asked me to do it. But yeah,
good voice.
Yeah, my voice today. I could have crushed it today. But yeah, if you're looking over on our YouTube right now, you can look at the jerseys. I will read you the prepared statement that the Kings gave with the jerseys, because these always crack me up, though this one is not quite as pretentious as some of them can be, as it's like, oh, the purple beam rises from the shorts like the Sacramento sunrise rises from the, I don't know what, west, east.
Sure.
I didn't pay attention in school. So let's read this. The City Edition jerseys. The 2025-26 Sacramento Kings City Edition jerseys is a modern remix of the beloved 2022-23 gray design. I think people liked them. I don't know if I would say they had a cultural impact. I always think of Kevin Herter, I think was the one who displayed them I think they kind of wanted to have the silver mirror that of Golden One Center, if I remember correctly, was the thinking behind
The
that.
silver color reminds those of the beauty of our stadium,
Of the
our
vault.
home.
While the earlier look highlighted the bond between team and community, this year's uniform shines a spotlight on the Kings' victory beam, a rallying point that transcends basketball and connects the entire city. Across the chest, Sacramento returns in refreshed lettering, paired it with a new palette of deep ink purple with bright violet accents, shades that have never been used in Kings history. Trim inspired by Golden One Center's architectural facade incorporates the beam into the central stripping, radiating outward in gradients of purple. Well, as I said, it wasn't going to be pretentious. Down the side panels of the jersey and shorts, the phrase Sacramento Proud is repeated, tying the full set together as a reminder that this uniform represents more than fabric and design. It's a celebration of identity and belonging.
Is it?
That's what it is. The City Edition uniform and complimentary court, always like that, will debut in Golden One Center on Wednesday, November 12th, as the team takes on the Atlanta Hawks. That's a little weird. The team will wear the set 10 times at home and 9 times on the road. That's a good bit.
I mean, it's
like a quarter of your season.
I mean, it's the 4th jersey, so
Yeah, I guess so. That math is mathing. Though they quick gripe, never wear the white ones. They just never wear white jerseys anymore.
Well, they wear them on the road,
which I don't like. Again, that's a whole nother rant that I could give you. Just black and white home, black road. It's that simple, NBA. Fans can order the jersey today at kings.com/city to be among the first to receive a limited edition piece. They also announced FanFest. That's always a fun time. Usually, yes, it is a free event to the public. You do have to get a ticket, but it is a free event. So that is always a little bit of confusion. Go to kings.com/FanFest. Get yourself tickets for however many family members you plan on bringing out. I don't know if there's a limit. Doesn't say so here, but it is usually heavily catered towards families. And so if you struggle to kind of, which is totally understandable, struggle to get your entire family out to a regular season Kings game, FanFest, always a really good alternative. That will begin at 11:30 again on October 18th, which will be that'll be past training camp. We'll kind of be in the middle, if not right. It's probably the in-between of preseason and the regular
October
season.
18th has got to be like the Saturday or Sunday before the season starts.
That would be my guess, and those are always fun. You get you'll get Maxime Reynaud and Neat Clifford dancing more than likely, or doing some sort of rookie hazing.
I only went to one fan fest, and the only thing I remember is that Sasha refused to do the singing on the court.
That would have been incredible.
Yeah.
That would have been really, really worth the price of admission, which is free, ladies and gentlemen.
It's Saturday the 18th.
Saturday the 18th. They will open doors to connect fans with mascot Slamson and Dunkston, enjoy appearances by personalities Scott Fresh Hour and Scott Moak, and then hear insights from broadcasters like Katie Christensen, Kyle Draper, Morgan Reagan, and Deuce Mason. I just wanted to throw
Where can you hear insights from Kyle Draper except here?
I just wanted to throw a shot at Drapes. And so that is it from the Kings announcements today. They also announced all the theme days as well, if you're into those. I did think it was interesting. I don't believe they've had this before. On February 7th, as the Kings take on the Cleveland Cavaliers, enjoy an electric atmosphere designed for meeting new people, sparking connections, and having a great time, all while taking in action on the court for Singles Night at Golden One Center.
No way.
February 7th. So, I mean, those are always, like, I'm somebody who is always terrified of, even though I'm happily in a relationship, I never want to be on the kiss cam in my life.
Sure.
It just sounds like the most anxiety that I've ever felt. I've never been on one, but I just would never want to. I say all that to say, I feel like Singles Night is going to be just like full of those kind of, we're going to force you to communicate and have some sort of awkward interaction with the camera faced right at you.
No. Here's what's going to happen, because I've seen this happen before at other singles events.
Okay.
Specifically catered like this at a basketball game. It's going to be 90% men.
Oh, you're so right. I don't even know why.
It's just going to be. Yeah. If you're a single person,
and you're like, you know who I hear is having a singles night?
The
basketball team.
The local basketball team.
Yeah.
You know where I'd like to go to meet someone? The local basketball game. Promise you. They're going to have like an event set up for people there for singles night. It's just going to be 90% men.
That's such a great call too, is that they're definitely going to have those the speed dating tables set up and everything. I'm sure instead of the perfect pump, they'll do a speed dating thing where a newlywed game or something, or a version of the match game where it's hey, Jennifer, we asked Jennifer what's her perfect ideal date, and we have 3 contestants standing at center court who are going to give insane answers.
Yeah.
So I'm mildly looking forward to that one. That's
I think the Brew Bike people did a version of this before, and it was just all men showed up. I have a feeling it's going to be a not great ratio for male to female couples. If that's what you're looking for, great. If not, congratulations. Maybe this will influence the type of people who want to show up.
I was going to say, we have a massive platform here. We have until February 7th. We can put the word out. Let them know that this is going to be the place to be. Let the people of Sacramento, more specifically the ladies of Sacramento, know that if you want somebody who has been through the ringer, if you want somebody, you want to talk about, I was going to say you want to talk about somebody who has trust issues. That's going to be a Kings fan. That's probably not ideal in a relationship. But you want to talk about loyalty? You want to talk about somebody who's going to stick through thick and thin?
You want to talk about clinically insane?
Clinically insane. Medically on a paper says, what are you doing? Singles night, Golden One Center, February 7th, Cleveland Cavaliers. What else do you want?
Nothing in this world says love to me more than Lonzo Ball.
Come on. I'm trying to think of other Cavs. Evan Mobley. Come on.
Yeah. Nothing says
ladies
love.
Love Evan Mobley.
Nothing says love quite like watching Sam Merrill.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And for that reason, we'll go to the other side here. Again, you can check out the Kings jersey over on our Sactown Sports YouTube feed. I think it's actually kind of interesting. Is it black? Is it purple in the back? I can't really tell if it's a very dark purple or if it is black. That'll be interesting to see once the jerseys actually come out. If I had to guess, to me, it looks more like a dark purple than a black. And then, yes, the accents are more of a violet stripe. So we'll see once those actually come out. Very intrigued. And then nobody really cares, but my favorite day of the year is coming up as the Kings sent an email to only the most special of people that they will be unveiling their new food items in the stadium in the next couple weeks. So I will definitely be sure to make that event as I do every single year. And I'll definitely share with you guys what that is. That's going to be Wednesday, October 1st. So I will be, my schedule will be booked on October 1st as I will be trying all of the new Golden One Center all of the Golden One Center food, not just for media, for the entire arena itself. So looking forward to that and looking forward to much more. We talked a good bit about the A's earlier. Kyle has a really interesting note here from the SF Gate about the River Cats and how maybe that whole relationship between the A's and River Cats isn't necessarily a mutually beneficial one. We'll talk about that next. Allen Stiles Show, Sactown Sports.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Well, the A's will open the season next year on March 26th in Toronto, and the full slate of games that day will mark the earliest traditional opening day in Major League history. Now, as far as the Dodgers coming to West Sacramento for the first time, that series will begin on June 29th.
Welcome to Dugout Radio, the undisputed home of Boomtown Baseball.
The Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity, baby. Our next caller is
Stacy. How do you stay locked in on every pitch and play?
We stream it all live on Xfinity Internet with low lag, 99.99% network reliability, and speeds faster than a base runner beating the throw to home plate.
I stream on my TV, tablets, even my smart fridge.
Smart fridge?
With all those games, we gotta refuel.
Stream live baseball with Wi-Fi built for the biggest moments. Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Get ready for the final week of Sacramento Rivercats baseball. Join us from September 16th through the 21st as we celebrate giveaways, special theme uniforms, Fan Appreciation Day, and more. Get your tickets at rivercats.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Allen Stiles Show. Chris Watkins filling in for Allen Stiles. You can check us out over on our YouTube page, Sactown Sports. We just showed the King's New City Edition jerseys. I'm a little confused still on whether or not like the base of the jersey is like a dark purple or a black. To me, I think it's a dark purple, but we'll be very interested to see those things in person. A lot of I know a lot of people. I kind of joked about it when I said it initially. A lot of people did like those silver jerseys, those gray jerseys that they brought out a couple years ago.
Well, it was also the Beam Team season, so that definitely helps.
Point. Very strong point. That always does help, and I that is just in general the point as well. It does feel like people remember jerseys a lot more fonder when the team is successful. And, it makes sense. I can't really think of any, Kings jerseys besides those gold ones, of course, that people really think about during the bad years. Not that we're like specifically new. The best jerseys from the Kings, like DeMarcus era, were all like retro jerseys. So,
and the ones that like had the, I hate to explain it, like the big K, and then it said Kings, and it was kind of wrapped around a little bit. I was like, Isaiah Thomas is the one I think of wearing it most.
The checkerboard ones, like the ones that are split black and
no, not
purple,
that.
no.
I'll find a photo of it later. The other one I think of people think fondly of still is the like red and or not, I guess blue and black, the Tyrese Halliburton with like the red trim.
Yes, people love those jerseys.
Yeah,
wasn't a massive fan.
Okay, it seems like well received years later.
No, for sure. Yes, they were black and baby blue. I mean, anytime you throw baby blue in, it feels like that's going to be a winner more times than not. And I would love if the Kings, brought back baby blue. I think. I remember hearing, is how I will phrase this, that there was a lot of conversation in the early years of Vivek's ownership that the Kings were going to try and consider changing their color scheme. I think since that has definitely faded by the wayside. If I had to guess, it was more of a new era. We want new identity. Let's just completely clean the slate. But yes, I do remember hearing that there was a couple year period where the Kings were considering going, or wanting, I should say, not even considering, wanting to go back to like a more traditional red, white, and blue, maybe a baby blue, probably more than likely the royal blue and red and white.
Well, I'm glad that it kind of held out, because I kind of thought this way, like anyone can do blue and white, right?
Yes.
Every team can do variations of blue and white. It's why I'm obviously San Diego Padres. I like the new brown and yellow because it's just like what other team is doing that combination?
Nobody.
With the Kings, there's a few royal purple and whites, but like for the most part, the Kings kind of are unique in that way with the color scheme.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with it. I think sometimes purple can be a little bit tough to just casually wear out in person, or out in public. But for the most part, they have good gear, and the Phoenix Suns make amazing gear, and they have purple in it. So I purple, black, as long as you kind of keep those colors combinations going, I think you're going to be fine. And speaking of combinations that are not going fine, however, let's talk about the River Cats and the A's, which we knew this entire time was going to be a bumpy relationship because the two just naturally are bumping heads so many times, whether it's schedule, whether it's even where this story specifically takes it, is attendance. This is again from the SF Gate. In terms of how much the River Cats attendance has been affected by the A's being in town. The SF Gate writes, the A's, the A's are just proverbially crashing on Sacramento's couch. There's no question they've put a dent in Sacramento's other baseball team, the AAA River Cats, the MILB affiliate of the San Francisco Giants. The River Cats have one final week of home games left on their schedule, a 6-game series that starts today. But with 63 games played in West Sac so far, an SF Gate analyst found the average attendance for River Cats games at Sutter House Park has dropped about 22.37% in 2025 from 2024's average crowd of 5,463 to a per-game average this season of 4,241 so far, a drop of roughly 1,222 fans per game. Baseball America, which covers the entire sport of baseball from major to minor to high school level, wrote last month that the entire minor league is seeing a dip of around 275 fans per game, but the biggest drop among all minor league teams has been in Sacramento. And that, to me, it's just the opposite. I mean, it is what naturally you would guess would happen. It's two of the exact same product in the exact same town, in the exact same building. The only difference is maybe going to be price. And when price didn't become a difference between the two because the A's weren't selling how I think they were anticipating selling. This is what was always going to happen, was when given the option, unless it was just for convenience, if it was just my aunt is in town this weekend and she really wants to go to that park and the River Cats just happen to be the one in town and we can't see the A's game, there was never going to be a reason, unless you were a Giants fan, unless you cared about Bryce Eldridge, or unless you just cared about the River Cats, for those people out there who are supporters of the minor league team. Those are the only people that were going to willingly choose to go to the River Cats game over the A's. And it's no slight to the River Cats at all, but it's just the situation that they put themselves in by allowing the A's to, as the article says, just sleep on their couch. And it's sad because I know the River Cats are getting money. They obviously have gotten a ton of investment in terms of, the new scoreboard, and I'm sure they've touched up the locker rooms as well, the dugouts, the clubhouses, all of it have gotten a facelift that it would not have gotten if it were just another River Cats season. So that's the push and pull that I guess they're playing. Is the juice worth the squeeze? I think that's overall what the question is going to be in 2 years for the River Cats.
Well, and the story goes on to talk about the point you made, which is when the price dropped, that's when you started to see the numbers really decline. I don't think it was reported all that much, but I know that a game, I think it was 3 weeks ago now or something, was the lowest attended game in the history of Sutter Health Park, like going back to 2000.
Do you have a rough idea of what they like in the thousands?
I believe the announced attendance, again, I say announced, was like 1,500. Okay. I'm guessing there are less people in the crowd than the announced attendance, but that was like a Wednesday game or something like that. So, they don't expect to draw big numbers, but it is kind of just a sign that, like, yes, because the A's prices are now the same as River Cats prices, people are just choosing to go to the A's games. And again, there's a few people who are wanting to support the River Cats, obviously, and have season tickets for the River Cats, but for the most part, it is price range dropping on the A's is pricing out the River Cats. And we kind of knew it, like you said. It's just interesting to have the data now available.
Yeah, and from a personal perspective, I guess I would say, I do know there is a difference in going to the games, not just in terms of attendance, but like I've been told that the River Cats drink selection is a lot better and less restrictive than that of the A's, because the A's obviously have partners. I think they're partners with Budweiser, and so they have to keep all, I think it's like Budweiser, Bud Light, of that family, where the River Cats, who have done a great job of remaining local in terms of they have that little like beer garden area that I think is a local area specifically, but even just buying drinks from their coolers or whatever it is, just a much larger selection. So I mean, that's obviously the one very specific distinction I can give you between the A's and River Cats games, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same experience. And again, if you're just a super casual observer, if you're literally just there to see a baseball game, it's not really much of a difference between the two. And I think given the option, if you care even a little bit, you're just always going to pick the A's game over the River Cats game. So I don't really know if the River Cats care, to be honest, because again, they're getting something out of this relationship, but I'd just be curious to know, maybe somebody who instead who doesn't care about the business of things, cares about the actual baseball of things, or cares about the actual organization themselves. Be fascinated to hear what they really think about this partnership between the two, and if they're getting a fair side of the deal. Because again, I don't think it's going to be an even side between the two. The A's are definitely getting the best out of that relationship, but can the River Cats continue to get something out of the relationship, I think is going to be key for it remaining a positive one. Let's talk about a relationship that, again, just has not been positive for a really long time, and that is the Jonathan Kuminga saga in Golden State, and what might be soon a Jonathan Kuminga saga in Sacramento. We will talk about that at the top of the hour right here, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You've probably heard the word, but do you know what a stimp meter is and how it works? Invented by Edward Stimpson in the 1930s, a stimp meter is a device used to measure the speed of putting surfaces. His version was made of wood and was simply a chute on which a golf ball would roll onto the green. Roderick Easdale writes in Golf Magazine, today's stimp meters are made of aluminum. They're 36 inches long and have a V-shaped chute down which the ball can roll. It has 2 notches on which the ball rests. After a flat area of the green is selected, a golf ball is placed in the notch and the end is slowly lifted until the ball rolls down the chute and across the green. The average of 3 distances becomes one of the measurements. The process is repeated in the opposite direction, and the measure of both directions is added and divided by 2. That figure in feet is the stimp meter reading. Most courses average 9 or 10 on stimp meter, which is neither too fast or too slow, just right for most recreational players. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
A non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters.
Attention former and present inmates of women's prisons in California. If you are currently or were an inmate of Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, also known as Chowchilla Women's Facility, Valley State Prison for Women in Chowchilla, Institute for Women in Chino, or Folsom Women's Facility in Represa, and were a victim of sexual abuse, now is the time to come forward, as you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. If you were an inmate at any of these prisons at any time and were subjected to sexual abuse from staff members, you may be entitled to substantial cash compensation. Call our California Women's Prison Helpline now at 800-408-1240. The deadline to file a claim may be close. Call now to get the justice, closure, and the financial settlement you deserve. Even if it was long ago, call our law firm's Women's Prison Sexual Abuse Helpline right now at 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports, 1140. Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Here we are again, lunchtime. Well, what people usually classify as lunchtime, 12 o'clock. It's never been my lunchtime, as we discussed yesterday. It's just a convenient time to say so.
Lunch is just whenever you eat your second meal.
Lunch is a construct, dude. Like, honestly, like, what even is, like, who determines what breakfast is, what lunch is? That's
sure. Yeah. I mean, you should take a lunch break. Let's not get it wrong, but that's just, more of an American thing, I think, than anything else. The idea of I'll just skip lunch and work.
Definitely an American concept, and it's one that we need to stop. We do need to try and get more of that siesta lifestyle, get the we're done by 3 o'clock, don't hit me after, don't even think about it type stuff. So, yeah, happy lunchtime. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show. Chris Watkins filling in. I see somebody's already asking about Allen in the YouTube chat. TR says, where is Stiles? He should be back by now. Mid-Rock says, still on paternity leave. TR, he should be back. We all know this.
Sure.
For sure.
I wish I knew it.
Allen's got to do paternal things. Like, mainly, I think, like you correctly pointed out yesterday, I feel like Allen's main duty these 2-3 weeks is keep baby number one as preoccupied as possible.
Well, his main duty is duty.
Well, yes.
And second is, yes,
would it surprise you if Allen's not a changer?
No, I feel like he's a reluctant changer.
Reluctant for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a tough battle to try and win I feel like he probably tried to.
If Allen is anything, he is a gentleman at the end of the day. And I think the idea of him having to make his wife do that, would make him feel too guilty.
That's very true. That probably sets him over the top. It's more just like I could see it just being like, not my, not my thing. Like, you know.
You sure you can't take this one?
Yeah. Like, mom's going to be home in 15. Like,
15.
Maybe we just let you.
15 minutes. That baby's going to be crying a long time.
Hey, man. It's not going to be your problem, though. Yeah, let's pivot off of that conversation as quickly as possible.
Speaking of a duty situation.
You want to talk about a baby? No, I'm kidding. That's not fair.
Senor Segway strikes again.
I guess we should both get hit with this.
Senor Segway strikes again.
Each of us. Let's talk about the Jonathan Kuminga situation and if it's going to resolve itself. Shams Charania, Anthony Edwards, Anthony Slater released the story for ESPN that we talked extensively about yesterday, gave tons of details, essentially just laying out where Jonathan Kuminga's contracts have came from the Suns, from the Kings, from the Warriors, how many different contracts he's been offered, where the Lakers stand on things, where Dunleavy played a part in the negotiations, and where things stand now. It was a great story. It's very comprehensive. Definitely go check that out at ESPN. This morning, Sam Amick released an article. We talked about it a little bit earlier in today's show. But from the Shams Slater story, again, we went through a lot of it yesterday. I think we have Shams in his own words being able to describe exactly what he wrote in yesterday's story.
George, the Warriors have shown more effort, increased urgency to figure out a solution here, even to the point Joe Lacob, the Warriors owner, went out and sat face-to-face with Jonathan Kuminga in the last month. And Joe Lacob essentially asked Kuminga, do you want to be here? Do you want to be with the Warriors? And Kuminga flipped that really and said, do you even want me? And how the Warriors have showed whether they want him or not. They've structured 2 trade-friendly contracts. We know about the 2-year, $45 million offer, standing offer that's been there since July. It includes a team option, but he's been declining that. And so over the last week, I'm told the Warriors offered 3 years, $75 million. That also includes a team option, which to this point, Kuminga has resisted. And so will the 2-year framework, if Kuminga wants a shorter-term deal, will they be able to improve that 2-year deal? Will it get to a point where Kuminga takes it? I spoke to a source this morning that said this is essentially a situation where both sides know that likely the best case scenario is a divorce eventually. But in the short term, it might be best for both sides to stay together for the kids, and the kids being a betterment for the team, allowing both sides to get an opportunity to see, can we figure this out? Can this work at least this upcoming season? And if not, it's a tradable contract that they can trade, and eventually he hits unrestricted free agency next offseason.
So many things to take and to try and react to from that Shams audio. First off, somehow 35-year-old Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Jimmy Butler are the kids in this Jonathan Kuminga, who's 24-year-old.
It seemed like he just ejected on the analogies. Like the kids are a stable situation. No, your analogy didn't work, bud.
He did not.
I gotta say this.
Clear that one before.
Shams should not be doing stand-up comedy anytime soon because he had the joke and then just didn't deliver it.
It was really, really bad. And the other thing is the retort that Jonathan Kuminga had there to Joe Lacob, where Joe Lacob says, I can't remember what exactly.
Do you want to be here?
That's what he. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to be here?
Joe Lacob asked him, do you want to be here? And then Kuminga's response was, do you even want me here?
Which to me is a really sad, like, first off, it is a great reply, great retort, because we all know it's a question that just they don't need it.
That's
like,
a bar.
Yeah, like it's something where the room goes silent after that because they are like, well, if we say yes, we're lying. If we say no, what are we doing here? And I think, again, that to me, that exchange perfectly encapsulates what I don't understand about this situation, or I guess where we take the business side out of it. And I don't look, I love sports. Again, I'm so basketball brainwashed that I thought Isaiah Pinheiro, a guy who hasn't played a game of NBA basketball, I've got him in my mind more than a NFL kicker. But I just don't understand why this can't be a human-like negotiation where it breaks down as simple as the conversation they just had. You don't want me here. I know you don't want me here. You know you don't want me here. Why are we negotiating? We are only negotiating, frankly, because we have to, and I understand CBA, all that stuff. But to me, if you're in a situation like this, the answer should be, well, then we figure it out with another, like whether it be a free agency or working out a trade, whatever it is, this just shouldn't end up being what it is. And I don't know how to get around that. I don't know if I can phrase it any better, but I just feel like from a human element of this, the Warriors don't want him there. He does not want to play for them. And Steve Kerr, the coach, doesn't want to play him. I don't understand why it's not as simple as that. Let's wash our hands. And I understand, again, it's the Warriors want to recoup some sort of value. They don't want to look like losers in all this. They want to get something out of Kuminga, whether it's Kuminga himself or pieces that they can get for him. But it just shouldn't, like, everything aside, it's just, it doesn't feel right to me. And sports aren't fair, but it just doesn't feel right that this guy doesn't want to play for them. They don't want him there. They all know it. And yet we're still doing this dance.
Yeah, they're going to be losers at the end of this, right? One way or another, that everyone's going to lose because of this situation. Kuminga's going to lose out on money.
Yep. And reputation, potentially.
And reputation. The Warriors are going to lose in terms of their best tradable piece being gone, basically for nothing. Because at this point, Kuminga is, again, giving off the idea that he's willing to take the qualifying offer, which is a great leverage play by him. I don't know if he would actually do it, but making them think you'll take the qualifying offer is the way to go.
Oh, their bluff.
So he's willing to essentially cut off his own nose to spite the Warriors' face at this point. You just are going to have to take, one way or another, 70 cents on the dollar for what he is worth, which is different than when the Kings just did this with De'Aaron Fox, right? The Kings did not have to do that. They chose to take a lesser offer on a more important player.
Yeah.
With the Warriors, you can mess this up and it not affect your long-term ability to compete, because your long-term ability to compete is Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and to a certain extent, you know, your role players, your Al Horford, Jimmy Butler, or Al Horford, Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, all those guys, right? So they're going to end up losers, and that's the part that sucks about all of this, that it's even gotten to this part, is that there will be no winners at the end of this. Even the Kings, who might end up getting Kuminga for less, are not going to end up being winners in this situation.
No, I think you can argue the Kings have already taken some losses in this negotiation because of the relationships that are potentially damaged, or at least different after this, right? Like Malik Monk, he's been openly shopped now for 2 months. If he comes to Kings training camp, you know, we know Malik brings a really good high energy, but there's going to be something different there. Devin Carter, another guy who it's like,
didn't he say
it's not my fault?
He said at Summer League, like, it's hard to hear your name in trade conversation.
It's got to be. I mean, he's barely had a cup of coffee in the NBA. His rookie season went about as from a how I would picture it going to how it actually went, about as 180 as it could possibly be, with him just not playing for the first 3 months. And then, you know, I don't really know how to even describe his role the second half of the season. And then Summer League wasn't strange, but again, the entirety of Summer League, there was this, is he going to get traded like after the first Summer League game or something? You know, like that was hanging over that entire Summer League. It just feels like, yeah, to your point, I mean, the Kings have already kind of taken their losses, and we don't even, I mean, you know, who knows if they actually do end up shipping Malik Monk for Kuminga. There's a lot of people who think that in itself is a massive mistake, letting go of Malik Monk, if that's what it ends up being. And Allen is, again, we have a group chat here, and Allen's still holding out hope that maybe, I guess hope isn't the right word, but he's ready to do victory laps if Keon Ellis is included in those Warrior trades. That could, again, be a potential spot where the Kings, I guess overall they would say they win, but they definitely would take a lump if they have to lose Keon, or I even think just in general losing Malik is going to be a lump.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to end up giving up something in order to get the. And look, the plus side on the other end is like they could come out looking nicely because now you can have a direction. You can start from scratch with Kuminga and just say, hey, all that awful stuff that's happened to you, it's over now. Just focus on being you, focus on being basketball. Like that's like you're going to come out losers now, but you can end up being winners on the other side. But in a more cynical sense, and I know we've made this joke with Allen over the last few months, it's never great when the two teams that really want you are the Kings and the Suns.
The Sun Kings, yeah.
Yeah, never a great situation to find yourself in.
Pretty fair. It's pretty fair. And yeah, I mean, to your point, like the Miami Heat, like they're not really involved, and to your point, also could have had Jonathan Kuminga if they really, really, really wanted him, and they didn't get him. And so yeah, it does bring a little bit of fear to me that the Kings are one of the two teams involved because of the other team that is involved. And again, I think it's a very easy point to make, but it doesn't mean it's not a great one. Jonathan Kuminga is on the Warriors, and he is complaining about his situation. Buddy, you have no idea what bad is.
Well, I think the thing is, he wants that, right?
He thinks he wants it.
I think I think
once you're actually in it and you're on a 30-win team, 35-win team, might not I mean, then it's all the pressure's on you. Again, I think there is an element of Jonathan Kuminga doesn't know how good he's got it.
I mean, we've made this point too. Like in the NBA, there's like 50 dudes. Like usually each team has two guys that are like the offense runs through you and everyone else kind of plays a role usually. You know, there's some flexibility here and there, but for the most part, it's like 50 to 60, two per team. And instead of playing a role, Kuminga really believes he can be one of those two dudes. And bless him for believing it. I mean, the Warriors never gave him a fair shot to be that person, even though, you know, the little evidence that we had didn't go great in the Timberwolves in the playoffs basically saying, yeah, let him do whatever he wants. We don't care. We'll beat him. So I guess bless him for believing it's going to happen, and bless the Kings for giving him some kind of role that resembles that. But I don't know if it's ever going to work out in that way for Kuminga. But if he does adjust his expectation on his NBA career, I think the Kings could be the beneficiaries to that if they're getting him for what is it, basically your fourth highest paid player at $21 million a year.
Undoubtedly. I mean, if this all ends with the Kings with Jonathan Kuminga, I think they're happy. I think, again, we talked about it earlier. Would be a guy who's the second youngest player on their team, but with a ton of experience, a ton of athleticism. And, you know, the part that can't be lost on this is the Kings actually need him. Like, the Kings need somebody at his position to play next to Keegan Murray. I don't know if he's necessarily a perfect fit, but you could see, especially if they get some years together, they can learn how to play off of each other. Jonathan Kuminga, the Kings obviously need a rim protector. He could be potentially, with his athleticism, if he, you know, dedicates himself to that side of the ball a little bit, he can be a nice rim protector for this Kings team. And, you know, I always say that, Kyle, you wonderfully listed it out yesterday, tall man, big man. The Kings need that tall man next to Sabonis, and there's only so many Chet Holmgren, Evan Mobleys out there in the world. You know, could you do worse than it'd be Jonathan Kuminga at 6'8", 6'9", with the athleticism that he has? It's not crazy to imagine that maybe, again, it takes the person himself committing on that end of the ball. There's also a lot of intangibles that just come with the game that he would have to just naturally have. But it wouldn't be crazy to, even just as a concept, sell yourself on that idea.
Yeah, and we had some stat earlier this summer, too, that brought up, like, Keegan Murray is actually a really good rim protector, you know, relative to his position when he plays power forward, which in part is because Sabonis is not a big shot-blocking center like, you know, a Holmgren or an Anthony Davis or a Gafford or someone like that, even though he is more of a traditional center. Defensively, I would say he's guarding fives. You know, position really matters on defense, right? When we say four, it means guarding fours. Mm-hmm. When we say five, it means guarding fives. So Sabonis plays five, like he guards Giannis. Yep. Kuminga, I think, would help a lot guarding Chet Holmgrens and Evan Mobleys and guys like that, to your point, better than I'd say a Keegan Murray, because then it allows Keegan Murray to guard 2s, guard 4s, guard 3s, kind of move around instead of just Keegan always having to go one night guarding Anthony Edwards and the next night guarding Aaron Gordon.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think, more specifically to your point, the defensive end would be the one part that I wonder how that could be unlocked with Kuminga there. Because, we've seen Keegan be really, really good on the perimeter as a defender, be able to stay in front of guards and things like that and use his body, his length, his size to bother those kind of positions. If you can keep him on the perimeter. Also, I've been saying since the first year he got here, because he's played the 4, he's had to bulk up. And, I always think that it's not talked about nearly enough. When you're a shooter, you gain muscle. Well, guess what? When you're shooting or throwing the ball at the rim, whatever you want to call it, it takes different effort. Like, it's a different effort level because you're now stronger. And maybe think about it when you were a kid, how people's jump shots get ruined because they try and take threes from the time they're 3 years old. And so they have this almost like shot put or, a heave to their jump shot. It kind of works to a different scale. But when you're a professional athlete and you come in your rookie season, you shoot 39% from 3, and then the next 2 years you gain weight to play the 4, all of a sudden it could be your legs. It could be a matter of not gauging your distance in the same way that you used to be able to, but it has effects on your shooting ability when you gain weight, when you gain muscle. And I think I've always said it, Keegan Murray is here to be a 3-point shooter. He's here to be a knockdown 3-point shooter. And it's great if he's, one of your 2 best defenders and all that stuff. But if Keegan Murray isn't providing what you want him to provide on the offensive end, he's just not being Keegan Murray. And I think the Kings have to try and, especially early in his career, while it still is early in his career here, they have to try and at some point prioritize Keegan's development at least a little bit.
Well, at least not actively work against it like they have the last, I'd say, 12, 15 months. Basically ever since bringing in DeMar DeRozan for Harrison Barnes. That was kind of the moment. Well, and making no other subsequent moves, I should say, right? Because when it was Valanciunas on the team, it was like, okay, they can get away with playing Keegan at the 3 more, but now
Laravia being there was a big help.
Yeah, Laravia was a big help, but the problem now is that the way the team is constructed with Levine, DeRozan, who are essentially, wings, and then you throw in Monk, basically 4 of your 6 best players being wings is the easiest way I can say it. There's no point in playing Keegan at the wing when you only basically have 2 wing positions, and you're always going to have one of those guys available, which is why we're talking so much about moving Monk, moving Keon Ellis, moving Devin Carter, potentially moving DeMar DeRozan. Is like the long-term best spot for Keegan is not playing the tall man 4, it's playing the wing 3. And this is defensively speaking. Again, offense in the NBA is just kind of more flow and different players, different positions. But Keegan should probably be guarding 2s and 3s to best optimize his offensive ability.
Yeah, and I really didn't think about it until you just mentioned Jonas Valanciunas. But the Kings really lost Jonas. They lost Alex Len. They lost Trey Lyles. And they lost Jake LaRavia. And for a Keegan Murray perspective, you replace them with Drew Eubanks and Dario Saric. And I guess Maxime Reynaud.
And maybe Isaac Jones gives you something.
Yeah, right. And he was, I just didn't include him because he was technically there last year.
He was there, but, after Mike got fired, didn't really play very much.
And so if you're looking from Keegan's perspective, you're like, well, to your point, Kyle, like I'm back to the HB days where except I don't even have HB. It's just me.
Yeah. Now,
and if you want to consider DeRozan a forward, I guess, but
they're
to your point, not defensively.
Yeah. DeRozan's barely a 3 on defense.
100%.
Like, we had B-Ball Index has all sorts of fun nerd stats, which I guess I have to hit myself with the drop. But they had a thing that
segment too.
That was like most hidden players on defense in the NBA, and DeRozan was number 2. Like he was the most like we're just hiding him on the worst.
Trae Young number 1.
Trae Young was not number 1. Wow. I'm trying to remember. LeBron was on there.
Whoa. That's getting destroyed.
Yeah, it was a bunch of old guys, and there was one. Oh, the one that was super funny. No, this was hilarious. So it was a bunch of old guys, which made sense. I think Curry was on there, maybe. I don't remember. But then it was randomly Bryce Sensabaugh. I was like, brother, what are you bringing 12 minutes a game to the Jazz that makes you have to be hidden in the corner?
Yeah, he must be really talented offensively.
I was like, get in the gym and figure it out. If they have to hide you and you're giving them like 4 points a game on a terrible Jazz team.
Just to wrap a bow on all this Kuminga stuff, this is from Shams and Slater's story. We read this yesterday. If he's on the qualifying offer, he would still plan to show up to training camp and be a part of this season's Warriors team, sources said. But their side views the qualifying route as an organizational burning of the long-term relationship. If they would anticipate a clean split next summer, sources say, without motivation to let the Warriors recoup value unless necessary to get Kuminga where he wants to go. As the conversation laid bare, this is a relationship where trust and commitment from both sides appear to be lacking. Does Kuminga want to be there? Do the Warriors truly want him? Or are they just searching for more valuable time to trade him? A temporary reunion remains an expected scenario, but cap and restricted free agency dynamics have kept them in a summer staring contest. Both are waiting for the other to blink. And then from the Sam Amick article that dropped this morning on The Athletic, he writes in option 3 as to how all of this could play out. He says the Warriors changed their current stance, and this is, again, we read this a little bit earlier. The Warriors changed their current stance on sign and trade deals, deciding to get something in return for him now rather than run the risk of losing him later for nothing. The Kings and the Suns remain the two interested suitors at this time, though the league and team sources say a deal with either team is highly unlikely unless something significant changes regarding the respective offers. Team sources say the Kings are under the impression that Kuminga does, in fact, want to play for them. The Warriors shut down talks with both teams earlier in the summer, but could always pick up the phone at the 11th hour. So that is where we stand right here, right now with the Jonathan Kuminga front. The Kings are optimistic. The Warriors and Kuminga are not really on great terms right now, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the conclusion to everything. I think this is absolutely fascinating how this is going to play out. And honestly, I don't have any real indication as to which way it's going. I mean, it really does feel like a true split of either option feels like it, or all the options, not even either, all the options feel like they have an equal chance of playing out. And it really is, I guess the ball's in Kuminga's court. It's really tough to tell who even, I guess Kuminga is the one holding the cards at this point, but it is increasingly tough to see who has the true leverage in all of this. Kyle mentioned a little bit of a nerd stat earlier. I think we're going to continue on with the nerd numbers because when you're talking about something like rebounding, it can be a little arbitrary. It can be, did the ball just fall to you, or do you have a true skill of rebounding? And when it comes to Domantas Sabonis, the numbers, they only say one thing, and that is that he is the best rebounder in the NBA. But Kyle and I will discuss if that is actually true or not. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sactown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
She has yet to lose since she's gone there. I'm not saying anything. Broke into the top 25 this week. UCLA having a rough year. Maybe this year. Come on over to the. All right, Jason laughs. Hopefully he'll be back for 3. Oh my God! He's got the double hand wave.
You can listen to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 1140 a.m. YouTube or the Sactown Sports app.
The Sactown Sports 49ers report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. On Sunday, it was no Purdy, no problem for the Niners as they win their second straight week on the road against a division opponent, 26-21 in New Orleans. Mac Jones went 26 for 39 for 279 yards and threw for 3 touchdowns. And Christian McCaffrey had 107 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. Next up, it's the home opener for the Niners versus Arizona. You can catch the game this Sunday beginning at noon right here on Sactown Sports, 1140.
Football season is here at Kia of Vacaville. You can score big in a new 2025 Kia Niro LX with up to 53 MPG combined at Kia of Vacaville. Perfect for road trips, tailgates, and cruising to Levi Stadium in style and comfort. But don't wait. Inventory is limited at Kia of Vacaville, and these deals won't last long. Visit KiaVacaville.com or stop by right next to the Vacaville outlets for friendly service, easy shopping, and unbeatable value. All in one stop. Kia of Vacaville, where the adventure begins.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise guys at Bell Brothers. AC acting up? Call Bell Brothers. Need a new system? Get $2,500 off, 0% financing, and no payments for 12 months and approved credit. Just need a tune-up? Get an $87 AC maintenance with same-day appointments. We're on time, quote up front, and fix it right. No surprises. Call Bell Brothers or book at thenosurpriseguys.com.
Hey, this is Jelly Roll. This National Recovery Month, start your recovery journey. Choose a proven addiction treatment option that's right for you at ChooseChangeCA.org.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Allen Stiles Show, Sactown Sports. Chris Watkins filling in for Allen Stiles. And we're about 2.5 hours into the program now. About an hour and a half left until the drive guys take you. I think it should be until 6 o'clock today, right?
According to my knowledge,
Okay.
yes.
Should be until 6 o'clock today. No Monday night, no double Monday night football for Whitey to skate by tonight.
Those slackers.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Back in the day, at the Sporty 1140, back when we used to broadcast A's games, the afternoon show was I was going to say it was a joke, but honestly, it would be the greatest job to have because it was just like you would have, you'd barely have shows, honestly. I mean, when any sort of, noon first pitch or anything like that, and then you had Kings games, then you have Monday Night Football, then you have Thursday Night Football. It was like, felt like the afternoon was never doing shows back.
Didn't the station used to have like Sharks games too?
We used to have Sharks games. Yeah, we used to have Sharks games back to just kind of fill. Those were the worst to run. Little inside baseball, Sharks games, the breaks. It would just say one of the breaks in this period, and there would be 5 designated breaks that they are supposed to hit, but between the period, they might only go to 2, they might go to 3, they might go to 7. So typically I would just, run locals on the first.
So you were running board back then, man.
Yes. I think a Sharks game was the first thing that I ever ran at the station by myself, and it was not fun. And it went into penalty shootouts, and to say that there is not anything on the sheet for penalty shootouts is an understatement. And so I was pretty terrified, and here I am today. So I didn't get fired, but definitely had to be walked through that process. So,
worked out for you.
Worked out pretty okay for me. And while we're a little bit sidetracked here, I do want to apologize, I guess, if I keep, as I did right there, just pause for a moment as I'm speaking. I'm having a little bit of some tonsil problems. I woke up many times overnight, and it's one of those where it like hurts to swallow, and so trying my hardest to tough it out. Probably won't be sitting in this. Actually, I don't believe I'm going to be sitting in this seat tomorrow anyway, so I'll take a day off, try and recover, and hopefully be better. I'm probably, honestly, to be honest with you, I'm probably going to go to urgent care the second the show is over, because I'm struggling a little bit, but we got an hour and a half. We're going to power through it, and don't worry about me. I'll be perfectly fine.
I'm here for you.
Yeah, and Kyle's here. So worst case, you just will stop. I just will leave, and you'll just pick up right where I left off.
Let's not go that far. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. So
be careful doing that noise with your throat.
It's a strong point. Strong point. Thank you, Kyle. Producing on and off of life. Thank you. Let's talk about Domantas Sabonis, who, for my money, I guess you could say is the best rebounder in the entirety of the NBA. However, excuse me, as there's one of my pauses, Kyle pulled some numbers here from Basketball Index that, are I don't know if these confirm or, they do help us, I guess, further prove that Domantas Sabonis is truly the best rebounder in the NBA. In terms of Basketball Index, they had the top 5 centers in defensive rebounding talent, which I guess isn't just like a eye test number. I would assume they have something that backs that.
Yeah, not to get deep in the weeds as much as I would love to, but basically counting stats are sometimes unreliable because, people kind of mess, Trae Young throwing alley-oops to himself count as assists, so the counting stats can get fudged. So this is essentially a stat that takes into account game situation and things like that to create talent, defensive
rebounding percentage, almost, if you will, where they take out for true shooting percentage. They'll take out like bad shots and last second shots.
They'll account for rebounding over people and stuff like that. So
gotcha. Yes. That's very interesting. So in terms of defensive rebounding talent,
like it doesn't give Russell Westbrook credit when he steals rebounds all the time.
Gotcha. Very, very important distinction. So these are the top 5 centers in terms of defensive rebounding talent. Number 1, Domantas Sabonis. Number 2, Karl Anthony Towns. 3, Yusuf Nurkic. 4, Andre Drummond. And number 5, former King Jonas Valanciunas. So there you go. There's Sabonis at the top of that list.
We have the meat.
We definitely used to have the meats. I don't know what we got now.
So much meat.
Domantas Sabonis top 10 metrics last season. He was an elite rebounder, defensive rebounder, great finisher around the basket, strong multi-season offensive impact. Again, that's all from basketball. The Basketball Index. Go ahead.
The big one on that list at the very top, it says defensive rebounding talent. And for the whole league, he's ranked number 2. And I went further to figure it out. Giannis is the only person who's ranked ahead of him.
Gotcha.
In terms of defensive rebounding talent.
That makes sense. I think it's something that when it comes to Sabonis, it isn't really appreciated. I think it's definitely noticed. Obviously, we talk a ton about his double-double streaks, and it's just pretty apparent he's the only only person who even seems remotely interested in rebounding in this Kings team. Like, they almost have to forcefully tell Keegan Murray, like, it's okay to try and steal rebounds from Sabonis. Like, we just want to make sure we get it. So there's a little bit of, I don't call it stat padding, but convenience fee, I guess, for Sabonis when it comes to rebounding, because, again, he is just the sole rebounder, or the only person that they really want rebounding. And then there's the added bonus, frankly, especially when it comes to Sabonis's game, that he can bring the ball down the floor. And I know to say it's a controversial topic is, I think, putting it lightly, because the amount of people I hear that really hate it when Sabonis prances down the floor, hits his little gallop that he does when he brings the ball down. It does tend to go a little haywire. It usually ends in like somebody trying to back cut, and he tries to throw a pass that ends up going off of somebody's foot. I like it. I like it for that. Like, I think in theory, getting your big man to get out and go, again, in theory, getting your shooters out to the corners and not having to waste time of getting your point guard the ball, it makes sense. But it just hasn't worked out. I would love to sit here and say, like, Domantas Sabonis is, again, criminally underrated when it comes to playmaking, or, he is a lot closer to Jokic than people give him credit. But to me, that is the part where I'm not as down on him bringing the ball down as maybe some others are. And by the way, I believe Mike Brown told us last year at Media Day, or a couple years ago at Media Day, that he had to be convinced by Sabonis to let him bring the ball down. He was with everybody else, where he said, no, we have De'Aaron Fox. Give the ball to De'Aaron Fox, let De'Aaron Fox run and get out of his way. But Sabonis pretty much would get the rebounds in practice and bring it down himself and say, no, coach, like, you're going to see that this is something I have in my bag. All to say, where we are today, I think that's the part of Sabonis's game that I think if he can take his true playmaking to another level, and again, like I think there's a difference between the amount of assists he get versus, and I'm sure maybe B-Ball Index has a number for this, versus like the actual points that he manufactures, the points that are like, wow, like I don't know if that was necessarily the most obvious read, but you, whether it's special passing touch or special passing vision, you made that play that wasn't necessarily there. That's the part of Sabonis's game, even though he gets a ton of assists off the dribble handoffs. I don't know if that part of his playmaking's there. And I know that doesn't really attach to the rebounding where the conversation started, but I think it is in the same breath connected, because I don't know what the offense is going to look like this year. I doubt they run as much dribble handoffs as we saw them do with Mike Brown last year when after Doug Christie took over. You saw them run a lot more pick and roll. I think it's going to be really fascinating to see, what is their offensive hub going to be? We have seen it be Domantas Sabonis, North Star, everybody run around him, get your handoffs, get your screens around him. There's going to be definitely a lot of that for sure, but we kind of talked about it a bit yesterday. Are they going to run more half-court stuff now that you have no De'Aaron Fox? I know you have Zach LaVine, who's incredibly fast. Dennis Schroeder, in his time, was a faster point guard. I don't know at 32 if Dennis Schroeder is still elite speed. Are they going to try and run more of a half-court offense, more of a, dribble it out, get your pick and rolls? Worst case scenario, Doug always talks about splitting the shot clock into 3 sections of 8 seconds. Those last 8 seconds, he would always say, that's DeMar, get your money time. And I'm curious if maybe that's going to be, and I don't think a lot of Kings fans liked money time last year. I'm curious how much that's just going to be the Kings offense this year. I'm not sure. Can't wait to hear about it, though. Can't wait to hear on Media Day what they're planning to run, how they're feeling about the squad, and what they are expecting for this next season. Coming up next, we're going to get into some rumors. Is Molly Quirm done with First Take? We don't know. We honestly don't know, but we do have audio that is going to add to the questions, frankly. Stephen A. Smith made an announcement this morning after Molly Quirm made an announcement. We'll have that on the other side. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sactown Sports.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you bought that TV in the parking lot. It just happened to not come in a box or include a remote. And when you finally managed to turn it on, all it displayed was the menu of Grumpy's Tacos. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-838-6767. That's 800-838-6767.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Balsam Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-292-4382. That's 800-292-4382. 800-292-4382.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal, but telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Listen to the 49er Rewind daily. Brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza, the way it ought to be.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Allen Stiles Show, Sactown Sports. Kyle just brought to my attention that a former Sacramento King, is going to continue his career after he's already floundered about all across this wonderful world that we have. I believe he was last playing in Puerto Rico, I want to say, maybe Costa Rica.
I believe he was last getting banned from the Puerto Rican League for fighting a fan.
I definitely, now that you mention it, do remember DeMarcus Cousins getting into a little bit of a, we'll call it a sideline altercation with a fan. Yes, he is now, according to Hoops Hype, DeMarcus Cousins is signing. Oh, excuse me. Where is he signing here, Kyle? He's signing with the in Mongolia.
Selenge Bodonos? Bodons?
Bodons?
The Selenge
Bodons?
Yeah, that is in the Mongolian Basketball
Sure.
Association.
I hope he dominates. I'm sure he will. Yeah, I don't think that's like that's not like a league that we've heard someone join before, right? I mean, not off the top of your head. I'm sure there's somebody in there.
I
but
guarantee you Thomas Robinson has played there.
I'm sure. Yeah, Juan Toscano Anderson maybe had a cup of coffee there.
If you ever want to play a fun game, I just pulled it up just to see where he's at now. Thomas Robinson's Wikipedia list of teams is incredible. As of last year, it's now updated because he's on a new team. He had played in, I believe it was like 10 different countries, 16 different teams. I think he got banned from the Philippines League because he threatened to shoot his coach.
Okay,
Like there was
That'll definitely do it.
There was a lot of stuff happening. But anyways, he's played for so many different teams. And Boogie Cousins is probably
he's
not quite going to get to Thomas Robinson. But if you told me they both played in the Mongolian League, I'd believe you.
Well, you know, like the NBA rainbow meme that they have with Shaq, and it's like, yeah, he has every colored jersey that you would have. Yeah, I think Thomas Robinson has that, and then some, and then, yeah, DeMarcus is DeMarcus is definitely pushing towards reaching.
Okay, I was just making a joke that we're 2 tiers removed, but apparently Thomas Robinson is now in the Puerto Rican League.
No.
For the team that just signed Boogie Cousins.
Oh my gosh. So they just swap places completely.
Pretty much.
I can tell you that, Thomas Robinson, I will try to speak only to his game. Maybe it'll work out. It's just like the dude wasn't very skilled, I think was his biggest problem. He was a very, very strong 6'7" power forward who wasn't like an exceptional leaper.
This last season, he played in Taipei, Colombia, and now Puerto Rico. Thomas Robinson has.
That's a lot.
All in this calendar year of 2025.
I don't blame him, though. We kind of talked about it when it came to Trey Lyles, but it's like, use your basketball gift. You might as well, like, travel the world and play in some pretty great places. Not that it seems like Thomas Robinson is exclusively choosing the nicest places in the world, but I do like the idea of, instead of just kind of falling by the wayside, especially when your career ends before you're 30, like, why not go to Madrid? Why not go to Australia? Like, you might as well travel the world and get paid to do it. Right?
Guadalajara. He played for a Puerto Rican team. Went to France at one point. Taiwan.
I don't want to, bring the Steve Ballmerification to the world basketball realm, but those guys got to be getting like a lot of endorsements to make it worth their time, right? I mean, I know like when Jimmer goes to China and stuff like that, like it's definitely worth his time, but some of it is like, you're really convincing DeMarcus like DeMarcus wants to play that bad that he's going to go to Mongolia. Like, I don't know.
You're saying that he's getting hooked up with some. He's planted trees in Mongolia.
Some. Look, I'm sure there is something going on that has to make it worth their time.
Didn't Dwight Howard go to like Taiwan and he was just on like every billboard?
He was on like every billboard. He did like, how like like those game shows. I know it's like traditionally I think like Japanese game shows, but I think he did like, the how many free throws can this ex NBA player hit or whatever. Like he would do a ton of those too. So.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that happening too. So I don't know how popular the Mongolian Basketball Association is, but Boogie's gotta be their biggest star
ever. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure it's great for DeMarcus. I'm sure he gets something out of it. But yes, that is a confirmed report. That is not a rumor. Not that necessarily rumors can't be confirmed. But let's get into our rumor report for today. And I teased it at the start or at the end of last segment, and that is one that I know Allen Stiles would care about because he cares about First Take and like the sports media landscape more than anybody I know. Molly Quirm released a story on her Instagram this morning, essentially saying, now that the news has come out earlier than I came out earlier than I intended and not in the way I hoped. To my First Take family, after much reflection, I've decided to close this incredible chapter and step away from First Take hosting. I mean, that's breaking news in that realm for sure. Here's what Stephen A. Smith, I don't know if you have it, Kyle, what Stephen A. Smith had to say this morning to open their show.
Good morning and welcome to First Take. Normally, our friend Molly Quirm would greet you. However, Molly announced last night she will be departing from ESPN. She's hosted First Take for 10 years and elevated the show with her grace, her expertise, her incomparable kindness. She's been an enormous part of our success for a decade. Not only did she keep me and many others in line, she did it with dignity and class and kindness, to say the least. We'll miss her and wish her every blessing on her future. I personally am grateful to her for her friendship, and I will miss spending every weekday morning with her right by my side.
There you go. So end of an era, I guess you can say, for all you First Take watchers out there. Yeah, I guess I would say I'm interested to see what happens next. I mean, that is pretty much Stephen A's show, so I'd imagine whatever Stephen A wants, he'll get. Paige Becker's got surprised with the WNBA Rookie of the Year trophy. We don't have to play the audio, but you can watch the video. Anyone who's familiar with the J-HUD walkouts, you get people on both sides of the hallway clapping for you, singing some song. They do it for Paige. It's great. Awesome. Kathy Engelberg walks out at the end, presents her with her Rookie of the Year trophy. there really was nobody else who was going to get that award. Cindy Citron, Citron with the Mystics had a good start to the season. I know Kiki Irafin as well.
I think she got 2 votes.
Yeah,
I saw, which is like, couldn't you just give it unanimously?
That's exactly what it is. It's somebody who really didn't want it to be unanimous for some stupid reason, because Paige was ridiculous. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Paige makes first team all WNBA. Yeah, I mean, she just had an incredible season. And I skipped the audio video of the last one because I really wanted to hit the audio, I guess, for this one. But there is video included. Apparently, Victor Wembanyama is going to join one of my all-time favorite shows. I haven't watched it in a while, to be fair. They've rebooted it. Apparently, Victor Wembanyama is going to be featured on a Futurama episode coming up soon. Here's a little snippet of what it's going to sound like.
Bubblegum, can I ask you something? Sure, Vander. You know my good friend Wembanyama?
It's Wembanyama.
Wembanyoyo?
Nice to meet you down there.
What's on your mind? Well, I've recently always wished I was tall. What's it like?
Bender, the true measure of a man is not his physical stature.
Not when you're short, it ain't.
He's also an alien.
Tall does have some downsides. I mean, sometimes women are into you just for your height.
Really? And people just assume you're great at basketball, even if you are.
Life up here is legit rough, my friend. But it's cool. Damn cool.
And not that rough. The point is, you need to be happy with who you are.
Which can be difficult for short guys. But hey, keep trying.
Thank you. I knew I could count on basketball players.
I love the show. I don't know why that sounded more like it was from an episode of Bluey or something, where they're like trying to teach you like, hey, it's okay to be comfortable in your own skin and be tall. Wasn't the route I was expecting from the Futurama Wemby appearance, but nonetheless, I'm excited, and Wemby just gives a classic athlete performance in that.
Yeah, and people can't see it because it's obviously audio, but they literally animate him to be an alien.
I did see. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, he looks like essentially the alien emoji. So they did a good job with that. And then it wasn't lost on me in the beginning there. It was not an intentional Mike Brown hat tip, but the Wemba Yaya, Wemba what, the Wemba who. You know, a little bit of that in the start of that. So, yeah.
Wemba Yo-Yo?
Wemba Yo-Yo. There you go. That's what they said in there. So, there you have it. That is our rumor report. I am sad to report myself that I, unfortunately, am going to have to tap out. My voice is getting lost by the second. And so, Whitey Gleason, I had to hit the bullpen, and we're calling for the righty. Whitey Gleason's going to he's going to relieve me here for the next hour leading up into the Drive Guys, his wonderful program where I'm sorry that I'm making him go for 5 hours, but I wouldn't do it unless I really didn't think I could finish this last hour. So I appreciate everybody for having me. I will be back, I believe, Thursday, as long as the throat and everything's feeling all right. So enjoy the stylings of one Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason coming up next right here on the Allen Stiles Show, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity.
Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Well, the A's will open the season next year on March 26th in Toronto, and the full slate of games that day will mark the earliest traditional opening day in Major League history. Now, as far as the Dodgers coming to West Sacramento for the first time, that series will begin on June 29th.
Welcome to Dugout Radio, the undisputed home of Boomtown Baseball.
The Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity, baby. Our next caller is
Stacy. How do you stay locked in on every pitch and play?
We stream it all live on Xfinity Internet with low lag, 99.99% network reliability, and speeds faster than a base runner beating the throw to home plate.
I stream on my TV, tablets, even my smart fridge.
Smart fridge?
With all those games, we gotta refuel.
Stream live baseball with Wi-Fi built for the biggest moments. Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. I am Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered flex steel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports 1140.
Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sactown Sports.
Well, it's not Allen Stiles, and it's not Chris Watkins filling in for Allen Stiles, so they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Whitey Gleason with you. Good to be with you, Kyle. Thanks for being with us today. Driving in today, I heard my buddy Chris Watkins struggling a little bit, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I had to make Whitey come in at 1." I told him I would have come in sooner. He was gutting it out. He's a gamer today, Kyle. As you know, you sat here for the whole show.
Oh my goodness, I commend him so much for powering through. So much. He came in today and was talking about how his throat was just feeling inflamed and had trouble sleeping and just wanted to power through. Jason Ross and Kyle Draper are in New Jersey right now. The scenic country, as we call it, Secaucus, New Jersey. So we're definitely short-staffed. I'm glad that he stuck it out today, knowing that he's been feeling a little icky. Just hard. Really, the one thing that's most important, which is being able to talk.
That is important on the show. I'll agree with you on that. Kyle and I don't agree on everything, but we agree on that. The best description I've ever heard of a really bad sore throat or tonsillitis feels like you're swallowing a golf shoe. golf shoes with those.
Yeah.
Although now they have the rubber cleats, so that doesn't stand up. But anyway, all the best to Chris Watkins. And I know I speak for everybody here when I say we appreciate the effort. What do you think of the likelihood now, Kyle? We'll just slide right into the NBA before we get into Kawhi and some interesting thoughts on why his contract may not be voided no matter what. What do you think of the idea that Dennis Schroeder's now a surefire Hall of Famer?
Oh my goodness. Chris Watkins brought this to my attention on Friday. It's like, hey, Dennis Schroeder might be a basketball Hall of Famer. And I was like, well, it's not. How is that possible? Like, at least I know Vlade Divac is in the Hall of Fame and things like that, but like Dennis Schroeder's never even been close to an all-star. He's barely a starting point guard in the NBA.
List of players with Eurobasket and World Cup MVPs. A short list of players with Eurobasket and World Cup MVPs. Sergei Belov, who I think played for the old USSR. That name looks familiar, and as I'm reading it here, I think he was played for the USSR. He was a great player. Drazen Dalipagic, I got nothing. Drazen Petrovic, Tony Kukoc, Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol, and Dennis Schroeder. That's it. That's the list.
And every single member of that list is in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
That's exactly right.
Which seems strange, but yeah, Dennis Schroeder is one of the most accomplished international basketball players in the history of the sport. We mentioned this briefly on Monday, but I don't know if you've ever seen the list of at the Olympics, they've started doing like an all-Olympic team. And the 5 for 2024 is like LeBron, Steph Curry, Jokic, Giannis, and Dennis Schroeder.
Jason Tatum didn't make it?
Jason Tatum did not make it. Don't tell Kyle Draper, though.
Yeah, we know Dirk Nowitzki obviously had a great NBA career. Kukoc was on some great teams, and Pau Gasol, great NBA player, very good NBA player. Petrovic, sadly, his career was cut short, but Petrovic and Dalipagic and Belov especially, they didn't get a chance to do anything in the NBA. So, yeah, Dennis Schroeder, his resume stacks up very favorably to that whole group. They're all Hall of Famers.
Although I'm guessing those players, I don't know off top, but I'm guessing they've got like USSR championships and MVPs and things of those sorts versus Dennis Schroeder in the NBA. It's like, was a decent backup on the Thunder, quality point guard for the Atlanta Hawks and Lakers and a few other teams, which confuses me as to why Dennis Schroeder hasn't had a more illustrious NBA career as some of those other names. But I mean, even Tony Kukoc is a champion randomly, and Dennis Schroeder's never really been on a team that's gone on a deep playoff run.
Right. It's possible that's a little cherry picking. I mean, you'd have to really crunch the numbers. Maybe there are other reasons why all those guys are Hall of Famers, but just interesting to think of him in that context. And I remember when he was drafted, and he was on some excellent Hawks teams early in his career. Remember they had all 5 players were co-players of the week. Do you remember that? 2015 or 16.
I kind of remember that, yes.
But then he became a bench guy, and he was just known as a bench guy. So we'll see where that goes, but great for Dennis Schroeder. I just hope he hasn't worn himself out before this training camp's even started, Kyle.
I mean, he's never been in better shape, right?
Right.
Theoretically, I don't know. He does this every summer. I mean, literally 3 summers in a row now. Well, I guess 4 now. 2022 was the last Eurobasket where they got bronze. 2023, they won the World Cup.
FIBA World Cup, yeah.
Yep. 2024, they were 4th at the Olympics, but he made all-Olympic team. And then this summer, obviously wins the Eurobasket. So it's an annual tradition for Dennis Schroeder. He's playing basketball year-round.
One of the things that's most interesting to me about Dennis Schroeder coming to the Kings and the way he's played in the international competition, I don't know if he'll be able to play the same way. I'm sure he will want to. So he definitely runs the show, and it'll be interesting to see the level to which he's able to do that with the other players on the roster. May not be an issue whatsoever. I'm not trying to create problems, but you got Zach LaVine needs the ball a lot, and DeMar DeRozan likes the ball a lot, and that's not that they're selfish. That's how they play. Now, if you got a point guard like Dennis Schroeder going to run the show, it may take a while to figure all that out. But we'll see. It's a good problem to have right now.
We'll see, and I think they'll eventually come around to mixing and matching some lineups. Like, for example, putting Keon and LaVine and Schroeder on the floor at the same time. I think that would make a lot of sense. Or, staggering when DeRozan and Malik play and things like that. But It's a long season, and as I keep saying, kind of in the back of our minds, one injury happens and all of our guard problems get resolved because now there's room for everybody if you just take one player out for an injured situation.
Are you feeling at all optimistic that the Kings might be able to pry Kuminga away in the middle of this whole saga that's ongoing with the Warriors?
I don't think they are going to end up with Kuminga. However, if they are going to end up with Kuminga, they are playing this exactly the way that they should, which is the Warriors feeling threatened by the idea that Kuminga will sign the qualifying offer. I don't know if he's actually going to do it or not, but that's the only path the Kings have to landing him, is threatening to take the qualifying offer and the Warriors saying, okay, you win. We'll just send you to Sacramento for Monk and the pick. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's their best chance.
What is Kyle Ledbetter's best guess? What's going to happen? Nobody knows. I know. We're not going to, revisit this and go, ha, you were wrong, if you are wrong. But what's your best guess?
So Sam Amick gave the 3 possible scenarios in his story today.
Door 1, door 2, and door 3.
Yes, door 1, door 2, door 3. Door 1 is he takes the 1-year qualifying offer. Door 2 is he accepts one of the updated Warriors offers, which was reported yesterday. They've offered him now 3 years with a team option.
Yeah, they're still working on that.
Yeah.
So it's still somewhat fluid.
Yeah, basically they've upped it to 2 years, 48 guaranteed instead of the 1 year, 24 guaranteed before. Or door number 3, the Warriors take the Kings offer or some version of the Kings offer.
Or somebody else's offer for that matter.
If I had to guess right now, I would say door number 1 is the most likely outcome, that he will end up just taking the qualifying offer.
Yeah.
But it's a big risk to turn down the $48 million guaranteed in front of you.
But every time I go there, and I'm with you, that's what my gut tells me too, for what it's worth, I end up saying, wow, there's no way the Warriors would let him do that. That's going to lead directly to door number 3. If the Warriors are ever convinced, wow, he's really going to do it, we have to trade him. We have to get something for him, I would think. So I think the Kings I agree with you. They've played it as well as you can play it. Ultimately, it's out of their hands. But I still think they got a shot at this. Maybe not a great shot. And I'm not even sure it would be good for them, but I still think there's a decent shot that they end up pulling this off and bringing him in.
So Slater proposed an interesting scenario, and it's Shams' story too, but I'm just giving Slater the credit because Slater's been deep in the weeds on this stuff, which is they've also considered a 1-year offer to essentially buy him out of the no trade clause. So basically, if he takes the qualifying offer, it'd be 1 year, $7.9 million, but he gets a no trade clause. The Warriors might say, okay, we'll give you the 1-year deal, but we'll give you $20 million, but you have to get rid of the no trade clause. Essentially saying, how much will it cost for you to give up control of your destination right now?
And then the salary slot is of more use to them.
Exactly.
They're paying him more.
Yeah. And if they're paying him more and they theoretically want to trade him at the deadline before he hits free agency, Kuminga still has the leverage of saying, well, I'm not going to sign an extension with X team, so therefore, why would that team trade for him? Now, that also helps the Warriors if the Warriors are like, we're going to land, I don't know, pick a $40 million player. We're going to land Evan Mobley. I'm not saying that. How about Trey Murphy?
He would be so good for Evan Mobley would be a great fit for them. But anyway,
better example. Let's say we're going to land Trey Murphy. Well, we don't care what you think, Kuminga. We're just going to attach your salary and send you to New Orleans. You can leave if you want.
Right.
But it's kind of like a compromise. I think that scenario might actually be best for both sides. It guarantees that they're going to break up at the end of the year. The Warriors can still trade him if they get this big package they think might come that they're going to attach Kuminga to.
He gets paid a little bit.
He gets paid a little bit more, but they're essentially buying him out of his no trade clause that he would get by taking the qualifying offer. I think that might be the best path for all parties.
Kyle, do you think Kuminga would be a good fit here? I don't see it. I mean, it'd be interesting and I'd be fascinated to find out. My guess is that he's not a good fit, but what do you think?
I say yes, but I don't believe Jonathan Kuminga. He's talked before about like, I want to get the runway. I want to be a number 2. I don't think he's ever going to be that player in the NBA. But as a number 3 or a number 4, yeah, I'll take it. 22 years old, and he's already a starting caliber 4 in the NBA. I'll at least take the risk.
And you're talking about in terms of where he ranks relative to teammates, right? Not position.
Yes.
You say 3 or 4, like third best or fourth best.
Yes, third or fourth best
option
player.
Yes.
As a third or fourth option on offense. And the other nice thing is the Kings are such a unique team because their best player is not their best scorer in Domantas Sabonis. So, there's the idea he makes teammates better and it opens more opportunity for Kuminga and things like that. So I'm in on him for 3 years and, $21 million a year. I think that's a great value to the Sacramento Kings. They could go to the bottom of the lottery and spend 2 years tanking to find a player as good as Kuminga, just if the lottery doesn't go your way.
I heard you talking with Chris Watkins, and it's Whitey in for Watkins, who's in for Allen Stiles, because Chris, under the weather, bad sore throat. So I came out of the pen, and since he was injured, it's cool because I got to throw as many warm-up pitches as I needed.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Real Mason Miller over here you are.
No, I need a few more, Blue. Okay, ready to go. But I heard you guys talking about what kind of offense the Kings are going to run. And it got me to thinking about something, which is maybe kind of silly and a little sentimental, but I think it would work. When Doug Christie played for the Kings, they ran a split action with Peja and Bibby and Vlade. And you'd end up with Peja in the corner and Mike Bibby, coming off the screen, maybe shooting a jump shot. If DeRozan was doing what Bibby did, and you had Zach LaVine doing what Peja does, and you had Domas playing the Vlade role, that would work. You can still do that. And I think it would be very effective and efficient.
Sure. I think that Zach LaVine being a glorified corner 3-point shooter who sometimes has the ball in his hands and play makes is not the worst idea in the world. The problem is that can't be your highest paid player on the team and have it be successful. If Zach LaVine were a number 3 option, I think he would fit. Like if I put Zach LaVine in the Michael Porter Jr. role on the Nuggets, I think he would thrive. He would have best season of his career, role player on a or not even role player, third best player on a championship contending team. But he just can't be that on this version of the Sacramento Kings. They need him to score 25 a night at relatively high volume.
I think in a perfect world, given how imperfect the roster is, if Zach LaVine were 27 or more points per game, I think that's how you would get the most out of him. If he was threatening maybe even to be among the league's leading scorers, I think that's when he gives you the most value on that contract.
And I think his best season in Chicago, he was at 26.9 per game, which, we looked it up and it's a little sad, but that Bulls team, their best year, won 46 games in the East. If you took that Bulls team and put it in last year's Western Conference, they would have been the 9 seed, the same as the Kings. So,
that was the first year DeRozan was there, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I remember that team because I think mid-season it's like, man, the Bulls are awesome. And then you just kind of settled into their bullness, and they were okay, but they'll be better next year. They weren't.
No, never were. Part of that, though, was that the non-LaVine and DeRozan players got worse around them, and the optimistic Kings fan will make the point, and it is a good one, that LaVine and DeRozan have never played with a teammate as good as Domantas Sabonis. And that's your saving grace for the team being better than even that version of the Bulls. To what degree, I don't know, because it's not like Vucevic was ever a bad player. He was just not as good of a player as Sabonis.
Right. The thing that still makes me shake my head, not to get lost in the weeds of negativity, if I may, but you can go back, and I think it was December of 23, maybe it was 22. I'd have to look it up, but you can check it, and I can find it here if you need me to. You had DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. They were not meshing. Their games were not meshing with the Bulls, and it was a story. It was actually, I think The Athletic wrote about it, and they had meetings, and they tried to figure it out. And it's not a personal thing. I don't like that guy. It's just like, we just can't get our games to fit together. That actually was an issue they had. And knowing that you're going to go out and bring them both in. I know that, it's all water under the Tower Bridge now, but it makes me shake my head, Kyle. I don't understand it.
Water under the Tower Bridge is a great phrase. I love that.
Thank you.
But we can go find the clip. Brian Windhorst said the day that they fired Monty McNair, this exact point, which is it's not a well-run franchise. They had a pair that worked, and they imported a pair that did not work.
Yeah.
And Windhorst hit the nail on the head in a way that has been better than anyone has described it, and that was 5 months ago. And we're still here with the same pair that did not work in Chicago, imported to replace De'Aaron Fox and Harrison Barnes, which who knows if they'll work together with Wemby in San Antonio, but most insiders are saying that the Spurs have a better chance of being a great team this year than the Sacramento Kings do.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be too negative. The new season's almost here, and I know Chris was think it was last week he was talking about how he thinks the Kings are going to surprise people, right?
Surprise people, maybe.
Yeah.
I just think.
Isn't that what he said, though? I believe,
It was, but
Yeah.
I think even he was saying that's like a 500 record. I don't think he's saying.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that part.
I think even he's the most optimistic of it might be a 500 record type of situation for the Kings, which I think would be us coming back at this exact same time in April and having the same questions that we had before. Because if they're still in the playoff race, I don't think they're going to trade any of the core 4 players. Maybe they would move a Malik Monk or maybe they would move a Keon Ellis if they don't think they're going to come to an extension. But I just don't, if they're in contention at all, I just don't see them making a move with any of those core 4, Levine, DeRozan, Keegan, or Sabonis.
Maybe I need to raise my standards as a basketball fan, but I'll just say this: last year, as puzzling and as at times miserable as it was very interesting, right?
Oh.
There was always something going on
No,
the whole way through.
I'm at the end of the year, I put together like a one shining moment type of video, and I was just like, God, there's so many things that you completely forget happened throughout the season. Sabonis had a tip in Miami for a game winner, and I was just like, I don't even remember that happening.
Yeah,
a million years ago.
Yeah.
Just so much stuff happened throughout the season. Whitey, what do you think about the new jerseys?
I didn't get a great look at it today. That's for 916 Day, right? They came out with
the City Edition jerseys.
Yeah. I have to look at it more closely. At first blush, it didn't look that different to me. What am I missing? What did I miss?
How
are they? What?
There's a violet down the side. I don't know if you have the YouTube up, but I just put it up on the YouTube for you if you want. But there's
thank you.
Violet trim.
Yeah.
Violet trim down the sides, which is supposed to be beam related.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't tell if it's like a dark blue or I'm sorry, a dark purple or a black base for it, but it's a dark base. It's basically the ones from 3 years ago, the gray ones, but they've just kind of changed the colors up a little bit. But
I like it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be beam specific with a violet. Violet has never been. If we can find the statement again, Chris Watkins read it the pretentious statements that teams release where it's like the purple is the beacon of our city, and or the Timberwolves being like the lakes represent or whatever, pretentious thing they come up with. But yeah, so for people on the YouTube, you can kind of see the jerseys and kind of the trim around the edges. That's violet. First time ever.
Yeah, pardon me. One of the things I really like about this, when I came back here, just what was it, 3 years ago, whatever it was now, it seemed like there was some resistance within the Kings to fully embrace the purple. And I talked to people about that. And I don't know if that was documented, but it did seem like every chance they get, they want to kind of go back to the red, white, and blue, which I understand, in terms of your throwbacks. I get that. But this to me is like fully embracing the purple, right? Fully embracing the beam, and I applaud that.
It's the beam jersey, I guess is what they're calling it, which, hey, I'm here for it. I'd love, very popular among people who are talking about it online. And I think Dave said if it looks like how it appears in the picture, this could be a top 5 Kings jersey of all time.
Wow. I did see somebody, I forget who it was, I apologize, on social media said they need to have gold versions of this. And the gold versions of the Kings jerseys, they're kind of like Candlestick Park. When they brought out those gold jerseys, when was that?
2006, 7?
Somewhere in there.
Bibby was still on the team.
Yeah, and they made poor Jerry, and I don't know if I've talked to him about this. He was the one that had to go out and say, you're the gold standard, and these jerseys celebrate you, the gold standard of NBA fans. And people did not like them. They didn't last long because people hated them. But now a lot of people go, oh, those were so great. And nobody liked them at the time. It's kind of like Candlestick Park, the way everyone says now, Candlestick was so great. Oh, I miss it so much. It was horrible. That's why they left, and that's why they tore it down. So
they were dumpy.
Yeah, yes. But I get it. I mean, they were very unique, those gold ones.
Sure. Yeah. I have never had anything like it before or since. But here's the thing now, in the modern age of the NBA City Edition, where just to make money, they create a new one every year for all the teams. And if one doesn't hit, it's like, okay, we'll just do another one next year. In this new era, eventually they're going to recycle through everything. They're going to do modern adaptations on every different jersey and every different possible kind of jersey combination.
Can you confirm this, Kyle, from Sacramento V or Sacramento 5? I'm not sure which. I apologize. They say Sacramento Pride down the side too.
Yes, there's close-up photos. I can see if I can pull that up. It also says like we plan to keep the team in Sacramento, which I guess is what Vivek said at the introductory press. I don't know, but there's
Is that on the jersey?
It says it on the like bottom part of the jersey, tucked in the corner. It doesn't say it like in big letters, but it's like at the bottom.
I guess that's cool. I don't know. When you first told me, it struck me as kind of odd, but all right.
Yeah, whatever.
That's the pledge. It's right there in writing. And there's jerseys in every game.
I guess Sacramento Pride going down the jersey. Yeah, there's fun little elements to it, but
people love them.
No,
based on the YouTube chat.
Universal applause seems to be the opinions of the people to these new jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what they actually look like in practice, but it also comes with another court this year. There's a special court for the jerseys.
By the way, speaking of uniforms, what did you think of what the Chargers had on last night? I think that's the first time the Chargers have ever worn powder blue trousers.
Well, love the powder blue, but hate the Chargers. So I should say San Diego deserves the powder blue, not the Charger.
I understand
powder
that.
blue.
I get that. But I was watching the game last night with Shinya, and she said, "What are those pants?" And she said, "I kind of like them." And I said, I think I do too, I had to admit. And I'm sorry. I know it was a tough night for Raider fans. I thought it was a pretty clean look.
Powder blue is always a great color, I will say. Like the Chargers powder blues were always so cool, so unique. I don't know why they went away from it, but they've tried to just distance themselves from everything San Diego. But now they're coming back around to the powder blue.
I think it's dangerous, especially for a football team, because you don't want to look too Smurfy. You have to be decent. The Kings, when they wore the powder blues and they were getting, pummeled, it was kind of not a great look.
It was Smurftastic.
It was. And then they went to the darker blue, but the Chargers are at 2-0. They're getting away with it. So good for them.
Sure. Good luck. Good luck, Chargers. I'm just in favor of quirky colors, Not unsurprisingly, I am in favor of jerseys that are not just blue and white or red and white. Come up with something fun, something creative. I still want the Kings to do a City of Trees edition jersey at some point.
Very nice.
Just do like a dark green.
They won't do that though. They'll do Farm to Fork.
That could be the same way,
Yeah. The city's they're trying to distance themselves from City of Trees and being known as the Farm to Fork. Kawhi Leonard, why voiding his contract, even if the Clippers are found guilty, would be a lot trickier than any of us realize. Next, filling in for Chris, filling in for Allen, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters.
Attention former and present inmates of women's prisons in California. If you are currently or were an inmate of Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, also known as Chowchilla Women's Facility, Valley State Prison for Women in Chowchilla, Institute for Women in Chino, or Folsom Women's Facility in Represa, and were a victim of sexual abuse, now is the time to come forward, as you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. If you were an inmate at any of these prisons at any time and were subjected to sexual abuse from staff members, you may be entitled to substantial cash compensation. Call our California Women's Prison Helpline now at 800-408-1240. The deadline to file a claim may be close. Call now to get the justice, closure, and the financial settlement you deserve. Even if it was long ago, call our law firm's Women's Prison Sexual Abuse Helpline right now at 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240.
With football in the air, fall is almost here. Time to start thinking about the cooler weather ahead and whether your heater will be able to get you through the winter. Our heater fell apart last winter, so who did we call? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. We wanted somebody we could trust to do the job right and deliver great value, and Lee's came through. Check them out at leesair.com. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating has built a reputation as the leading HVAC company in Sacramento. We've got a new HVAC system that works great, saves us money month to month. Find out how they can help you at leesair.com. License number 635355.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, this is Jelly Roll. This National Recovery Month, start your recovery journey. Choose a proven addiction treatment option that's right for you at ChooseChangeCA.org.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Whitey Gleason in for Chris Watkins, who is in for Allen Stiles. Allen Stiles and his wife, of course, had a child just last week. Chris Watkins, he's a gamer. Gave it all he had today, but just blew out a gasket in the throat. So hopefully he'll be back ASAP. But he just couldn't go today, Kyle. And he still powered through.
Oh, he made it a solid 6 innings.
Yeah, he did. Didn't have his best fastball, but he got out of there with, he gave up like 4 runs, only 3 of them earned,
Yeah.
And left us in position to win the game.
Exactly. He did great. We're going to bring it home for him. We've got Mason Miller in the game now.
I don't know about that. Appreciate that.
A little bit older, but, he a little more experienced than Mason Miller. But we've got our Mason Miller in right now.
Mm-hmm. You ever heard of Hoyt Wilhelm?
I've heard the name, but unfamiliar with the game.
He was a pitcher, and he was very old. Phil Necro? Yeah, that's kind of what we have going today.
Yeah, there were 2 Necros, right?
There was Phil Necro and his brother, Joe.
And are they both Hall of Famers? No.
Phil's the one that won 300-something games and had a great knuckleball. Joe is the one who was caught one night. They're playing, Twins are playing, I think, the Angels in Anaheim. And someone points to the ball and says, dude, he's got a nail file. He's doctoring the ball. So the umpires come out, and Joe Necro reaches into his back pocket and flings his hands out like, what? And he throws the nail file in the air. It's on video. You can see it's like, what?
I feel like I've heard of that before. He threw the nail file.
And he's a really good pitcher. He wasn't as good as his brother, and it's a shame that is in some ways what he's known for. But
I mean,
it's pretty comical.
Yeah, I mean, that's just an all-timer.
What? Oh, I don't know how that got there.
I'm guessing was ejected, or did they not find it?
Oh yeah, he was summarily ejected.
Okay, so he didn't get away with it.
He did not get away with it. They picked it up and like, let's see here. Yeah, you've heard of guys, and I don't know if they still do this stuff. They would put like sandpaper in their glove.
I've heard about that.
Like
before.
on one part of their glove, and then just kind of rub it up.
I've heard of that before.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people have got to be getting more creative with the sticky stuff, because I know it's not really a thing anymore in baseball, but the guys got to be doing it. I just don't know how, but it still has to be happening somehow.
Yeah, they're checking their hands when they come out after pitching an inning, right?
Yeah, showing the glove, showing the hat. They've got to have some sort of crazy way that they're doing it.
You know what happened, and we'll get back to the Kings here in a moment, and Kawhi Leonard. Baseball decided we need more home runs, so they made a baseball that they said we haven't changed the baseball. The specifics are the same, but they made it a lot slicker so it would fly farther. So the pitchers couldn't get as good of a grip on it, so you can't get the spin that you need on it. So that's when they started getting everything had like the name of an animal and then some sort of adhesive. So like the kangaroo goop and all, spider tack and all that weird stuff.
Horse glue.
Yeah. And it was real, like 52 times stickier than glue. But that's why the pitchers went to that stuff, because the balls were too slick.
Yeah, and they haven't adjusted it since. I mean, ERA is not really the thing you check anymore for just how good a pitcher is doing, but ERAs I saw like between 2014 and now are up like 30% or something like that, just because there's more offense.
Yeah, well, one of the things they check now is spin rate.
They do check that.
And I have no idea. You could tell me, so spin rate is this, and I okay, is that good or not? I don't know.
So this same thing happens at the A's game where, I've been going to a few of these, and every time they throw a pitch, they post on the board speed, horizontal break, vertical break.
Wow.
And I'm like, I see -15 horizontal break. I have no idea if that's great or
Look at that
bad.
horizontal break. That's something, huh?
But then someone will throw a wild pitch and it'll be like -32 vertical break. And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Must have been a great pitch. No, it was in the dirt.
Yeah, you could be laughed out of some baseball conversations if you're talking things over with people that are skew a little more modern and you say something about, this guy's hitting 285. Batting average. What decade are you from?
Look, I'm not saying I do that specifically. I'm generally a nice person, but I'm one of those people.
No, I understand it. I get it. I know that that's not as accurate as we thought it was, but you just have to be careful.
I understand. Yes, baseball is the sport now that has changed the most in terms of the actual way that you evaluate good or bad players. Jeff Passan did a really good thread on this. That was basically the reason some of these stats are so hard to keep track with is there's so many different ways to be a great baseball player. Like Juan Soto, Manny Machado, and Kyle Schwarber all have the same OPS, but their batting averages fluctuate dramatically, and their on base percent because there's just so many different ways to be a great baseball hitter.
Mm-hmm. Somebody here, some people in the Chateau are talking about the rosin bag and rosin bag and sweat is legal, says Amadrock. And somebody says pitcher's nail care is important. Logical Raptors fanatic. You ever heard, Kyle? I'm sure you've heard of a pitcher. Oh, he can't go because he has a blister.
Yes.
I remember when I was a kid and I'd hear that and, guy's a blister? That can't be that bad. One time I was in the Giants clubhouse years ago and there was a guy named Jim Gott. And this was a long time ago. And he wasn't pitching because he had a blister and he had to be showing somebody. And I just looked. It was like an oyster. I mean, it was like, oh my goodness. When a pitcher gets a blister, because of all the friction and just over and over the repetitive friction, those blisters are weird. They're almost like a strange sea creature or something. So it's a serious matter when a pitcher gets a blister. It's not just, oh, gee, I got to put a Band-Aid on it. I'll be fine tomorrow.
Well, that image now in my head makes me feel like I got the idea.
What does the board say about that? Yeah, I was going to say. Moving on as best I can here. This is from John Hollinger today in The Athletic. John Hollinger was, I've mentioned many times, as you may know, he used to work in the NBA. I think he worked in the Grizzlies front office. So in addition to being a guy that just writes about basketball, he's been in an NBA front office. So he writes today about what kind of punishments we could expect if Kawhi Leonard is found or if the Clippers are found to have violated salary cap rules, if they're found guilty of circumventing the cap. First of all, he says there's no smoking gun here, but he also says, make no mistake, the other owners are going to want to crack down hard on the Clippers if they're found to have been in violation of this. I don't know about that, but he says, yeah, the other owners will not stand for it because even though there are things that teams do as far as talking to guys before they're supposed to and little minor infractions, this would be seen as a major infraction. So what could the NBA do? And he also points out there's going to be an investigation. We might not know anything definitive as far as the NBA is concerned until midseason. So you could fine the Clippers up to $7.5 million, fine Leonard up to $350,000, forfeit Clipper draft picks, suspend Ballmer or other Clipper personnel up to a year, fine them up to $1 million each, void Leonard's contract, prohibit him from re-signing with the Clippers, and require Leonard to return the money he received from Aspiration. The most interesting thing of this piece, because I know we've talked about all of this already in some form or fashion already, John Hollinger says it would be really tricky for the NBA to void the contract. He says, first of all, is the league actually penalizing the Clippers by voiding the contract, or is it doing them a favor? Leonard's due to make $50 million next year while still an elite player. When healthy, he has constantly missed time with injuries. Without Leonard's money on the books, the Clippers will have max cap space in the summer 2026 and could either completely pivot to a new roster or even perhaps try to push LeBron James from the rival Lakers. So if you want to punish them, if you void the contract, you might actually be helping them.
Oh, no, don't do it.
He also said, yeah, who was it? It was Flip Saunders once said that the NBA cracking down on the Timberwolves for the Joe Smith violation says the best thing that ever happened to them.
getting out from the Joe
Getting
Smith
out from under it.
contract.
They used that money to sign Latrell Sprewell and Sam Cassell. He says, "Oh, it's great.
Well,
the best thing that ever happened to us."
they lost the first round picks, which that was the one time in their history that the first round picks weren't super valuable because they were really good.
John Hollinger also says, look, if you were to void the contract, let's say the NBA hands down its decision midseason and contract voided, then Kawhi Leonard's a free agent.
Yeah.
And that would cause havoc, and some teams would be in position to take advantage of it. Maybe the Lakers. And so some of the others, especially the small market teams, would go, no, that's not fair. That's not right. So it's a much slipperier slope than I realized. And voiding the contract, which I assume that'd be like the first thing you do automatically. You have to start with that. It might be trickier than at least I thought, Kyle.
Well, yeah, it's really hard to void the contract. And you mentioned Hollinger's point that like it could end up doing a favor to the Clippers, and sure, that might be part of the conversation internally. Are we doing the right thing, or are we just, actually trying to punish the Clippers kind of situation? Because if punishing the Clippers means, by letter of the law, they have the evidence that they can void Kawhi Leonard's contract, which I don't know for sure that they have, considering Kawhi still owed a bunch of money from Aspiration, and most of the money that was paid was on his previous contract. I don't know if they have any way to determine that, but either way, even if they could void Kawhi Leonard's contract, whether they want to or not, or have the appetite to, is kind of at the heart of a lot of this, because they don't want to get in a fight with Steve Ballmer. They don't want to overly punish Steve Ballmer because Ballmer has more money than God. He has more money than all the other owners combined. So they don't really want to pick a fight where they're going to over punish Ballmer.
By the way, the most first round picks the NBA could take from the Clippers is 5, because that's all they have.
It's so unbelievable.
They only have 5 first round picks.
A lot of them also are pick swaps too. So it's like, we took away a pick that's pick swapped with the Thunder. Right. So it's actually the 24th pick in the draft.
Yeah. And then it's going to be kind of awkward. This whole thing is going to be against the backdrop of the All-Star game being hosted by the Clippers. So I'm sure they'll find a way to probably delay that even further than they need to. We'll come back and we'll take a look at what happened last night. Monday Night Football, double barrel fun with Whitey in for Watkins, in for Stiles, along with Kyle Ledbetter, Sactown Sports.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV. Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, other insurers, not available in all states and situations.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
Progressive's teen driver discount could lower the cost of insurance for your teenager and save you some money. And then you can still spend money on them. Because just when you think you have a grasp on spending, new sneakers. And then it's money for a school field trip. And of course, spending money. Oh yeah, and a new phone to replace the one they dropped in the toilet. Oh, don't remind me. So just get Progressive's teen driver discount. And then you can continue to spend money on them endlessly. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states and subject to terms and conditions.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic, made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's best Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all. Model year-end savings are going on now. Drive away in your favorite Honda. It's savings you just can't say no to. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study, recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space. Groundworks, official foundation repair company of Cal Athletics. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game and high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Listen to the 49er Rewind daily. Brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza, the way it ought to be.
Your home for Kings Talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
I haven't heard this song in a long time, Kyle. It's funny, I was actually thinking about this song today. It's like you knew. Thanks for playing, little Foo Fighters from Wasting Light. This is Bridges Burning?
Yes.
Yes.
Bridge Burn. Yeah.
Bridge Burning. I think it was the first track on that fine LP. Whitey in for Chris Watkins. Chris Watkins is really not doing well. He went to the doctor, and he's going to be probably on the shelf for a little bit. Hopefully he's back ASAP, but he was struggling got through 6 innings today. Somebody was wondering if it was a quality start. Yeah, I think 6 innings, 4 runs, but only 3 of them earned. I think that is a quality start.
I mean, in modern baseball, you make it 6 innings, you're doing something good.
Yeah.
Really should say like 4 2/3, because in modern baseball, that's the new 6.
I know. Now you got a guy that goes 6, like, oh my goodness, he's such a soldier.
6 innings. How many pitches did he throw? 130?
Mm-hmm. But it's smarter, Kyle. I get it. I remember the old days when a guy would, your starter didn't want to come out of a game. And I know we thought, wow, there's something about that old gunslinger. But it's just smarter now. That was actually kind of dumb back then.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the other thing is that hitters have gotten wiser to the idea of like, take pitches, try and draw walks. A walk is as good as a single, just long at bats.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of baseball now, is just 1 8-pitch at bat can change the entire momentum of a game, because a pitcher basically has 90 to 100 pitches total.
I believe I saw a stat today that Bob Gibson between 1968 and 1972 had more complete games than the Colorado Rockies ever but
that can't be true.
I have to double check on that.
That's amazing.
That's pretty impressive.
That is incredible. I'm sure it is true, but that doesn't seem real.
Yeah, I'll double check on that one. I'll double check. Although I don't want to, I want to go with that.
No, baseball nowadays. I'll ask you real quick. We don't have to go down the weeds. You know how in order to qualify for a win, you have to pitch 5 innings in baseball now.
Mhm.
I've said for years they should change that to 4. If you pitch 4 innings, you can qualify for a win. Do you think that is a fair way to add win totals back to the baseball game?
No, I'm fine with it. I think then you cheapen everything that came before. I understand what you're saying and doing, and I get it, but to me, I would leave it. And it's just different now, and you don't have as many wins. We may never have 20-game winners anymore.
No, I don't think
probably here and there, but it's not like we're going to get another 300-game winner.
the all-time greats like Clayton Kershaw and that random Jake Arrieta season. You're not going to get a lot of 20-win starters anymore.
Did you ever used to watch the show The Office?
I did not.
Okay.
I know. I vaguely
Dwight Schrute had a brother. I forget his name, but he looked just like Jake Arrieta. The actor who played Dwight Schrute's brother was like, "That's Jake Arrieta," but I haven't found anyone else who saw that. I'm the only one who saw that, I guess. Mose was his brother's name. A real quick baseball note. I think it's the 22nd. Not that it matters because you have to be a season ticket holder. The A's are having a night for season ticket holders, and I think it's A's, Kings, season ticket holders because they're all kind of the same family. And they're going to have a movie night. And the movie that they're going to show for season ticket holders is Field of Dreams. And it's just kind of interesting, the old build it and they will come movie. That's what they're showing because make no mistake, Sacramento's not pursuing the A's. If the A's were available all of a sudden, I'm sure there'd be some interest, but that's not Sacramento's plan here. Sacramento's not trying to keep the A's. They're not for sale. But Sacramento is in the early stages of mounting an effort to land an expansion team. And that's the upside of the whole A's experience here. Sacramento kind of got into this game a little later than cities like Nashville, and they're considered an almost sure thing to get a team. Portland, but those cities don't have the opportunity that Sacramento has, which is to host a major league team for 3-4 years and show baseball. Look what we can do. And I think the knee-jerk reaction is to say the attendance is not very good, so it's not going to work. But I think they're going to get a pass on that. I think baseball realizes, well, there's a lot of extenuating circumstances. They're not surprised, especially given what the A's were charging for tickets. I don't think baseball is necessarily going to hold that against the city of Sacramento. If it were to continue for the next 3 years, maybe. But this year, I don't think it's going to be something that we're going to be downgraded for. But my point is, we're going to probably hear, my understanding is, an economic impact study before the end of the year on a new stadium. And then next year, according to what I'm hearing, we're going to have a report on 3 potential stadium sites. So that we haven't talked a lot about that, but it's going on, and a lot of it has been behind the scenes. But by this time next year, I think we'll have a clearer idea of Sacramento's very determined efforts to bring Major League expansion to Sacramento.
That is very interesting because I said as early as today on the show that I felt like Sacramento's chances of landing an expansion team were almost non-existent. They would have to have essentially someone with $2.5 billion emerge willing to both purchase a team like the A's, pay an expansion fee, or potentially, extenuating circumstances aside, baseball has had situations where team swaps happen, all the stuff like that. So pay to buy a team and then front the money for a stadium which they don't have a plan for, or a site or things like that. But if what you're saying is true, that there are things going on behind the scenes with this,
really are,
then we do believe that helps their chances, because Portland, Salt Lake City, they're all kind of in similar stages right now to Sacramento, but they also have ownership groups in place.
Yes. I'll tell you one thing that could hurt Portland's efforts, and this is something that's been pointed out to me. Portland's funding mechanism for their stadium is a jock tax, which is you tax the athletes that come in to play there. And they had something similar in Memphis, and it was struck down because there were complaints. Some of the leagues and some of the players didn't like doing it. And so it was actually struck down in Memphis. So I don't know if it would fly in Portland. Maybe there's enough of a difference where it could, but that's a little iffier than I thought. And I do think, Kyle, to your point, I think the people behind these efforts realize that this is far from a sure thing. And Sacramento is getting into it a little bit late, but they see the opportunity and it's like, we might as well take a shot at it.
I guess
you do have this unique opportunity to show baseball over 3 or 4 years. Look what we can do while we're hosting Major League Baseball. And if you get, in the meantime, you get some stadium plans together, which is the plan, maybe we got a shot.
It sure would be a change of tone from where things have been, because it feels, even though they need $1.2 billion from somewhere, it seems like the A's are on their way to Las Vegas. So
yes.
Barring the deal completely falling apart because they just can't find the money and having to sell the team, which maybe if they sold the team, it would still go to Vegas anyways. Beyond that scenario, expansion and getting one expansion team, because Nashville's going to get the other one.
Yep, I think so.
That is your one path to landing Major League Baseball.
And baseball probably will not expand again for a long time.
And with the potential Tampa Stadium getting resolved, not a lot of relocation in the near future. And not that Sacramento would be eager to take someone else's team, but the A's are here, right? So this would be their best chance, presumably, for it to happen. It's very interesting. I'm still wrapping my head around some of those developments too, if they are trying to, because having the structure in place, as we saw with the Kings in 2013, that makes it easier to then go to someone like Vivek or someone with the money and say, hey, you want a Major League Baseball team? Here is the infrastructure. Here is the stadium plan. We just need the money. That makes it a lot easier in improving your chances.
It's even been, and this has been made public, one of the sites that is under consideration is Elk Grove.
Yep.
But there's some skepticism about that within the expansion circles.
I would imagine that's the case. Again, I don't know for sure, but I imagine West Sacramento, Sacramento County, and Elk Grove are probably the 3 most probable locations.
But we should hear more about that sometime next year.
Very interesting. You've given us a lot to think about, Whitey.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We're going to step aside here and give way to the Drive Guys. So Jay and Whitey will be along. All the best to Chris Watkins. Thanks for listening, and we'll find out who's going to be in tomorrow, filling in for Chris, filling in for Allen. But we got the Drive Guys coming up next. Thank you, Kyle Ledbetter. Always appreciate it. We're going to be talking about 2 underrated quarterbacks that we saw last night when the Drive Guys get things going next on Sactown Sports.
Don't forget my podcast.
Gotta go.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he